Of course I want you on camera with us, buddy. Good morning. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Great to be back in studio with you all. And, Adam Clug is filling in today for Paul Reindl, who is in Las Vegas. And I said, why aren't you on camera? And he said, do you want me to be? I said, yes, I want you on camera. I want to see your facial. I can't see you over the thing because you're short. And so Paulie's very tall. I can see Paulie. I can't see you, so I'd like to see you on camera as well. Plus, I don't like just Ben and I in the frame. That makes me feel much better, the three of us. We are Ben and Woods. We are on 97.3 The Fan, and we are very happy to be here with you this morning on the Padres flagship, home of the San Diego Padres. I'm Woodsy. That is Adam Clug, filling in again for Paul Reindl. Good morning, Adam.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Doing well, man.
Glad to have you back, Woodsy.
Good to see you. It's great to be back. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us. Benjamin, so good to see your handsome face this morning.
Welcome back in studio. It is definitely good to have you. I think you should say the flagship station for the series-winning, non-sweeping
Correct.
San Diego Padres.
Correct. So close, but yet so far yesterday.
So we don't get any overdue guttural yells?
No.
Screams?
No. I got to bury the guttural yell for a while. My pipes aren't, everything hurts right now. I feel fine. It's good to be back. I'm still a little foggy. One of my pitchers yesterday for the Tier 1s, Ben Bruff, threw a shutout. I forgot by the time I got home that he actually threw a shutout. My brain's not quite back to where it needs to be. But no, listen, I did not like really broadcasting from home. People might think, oh, man, that must have been cool. Just wake up, roll into your office, and sit in there. I was glad I got to do it so that I could jump on.
I was one of those people who thought that would be cool.
It's
just wake up,
so not.
Roll into your office.
It's so not.
When the show's over, you're already home. You don't have to drive anywhere.
Well, like Friday, yes, I was home, and both my kids were home. And my wife says, oh, I got to go run some errands. And I'm like, but I don't want to do this show and then just be with these turds all day long. But I did. It was a great weekend, man. My wife finished yesterday the Rock and Roll Half Marathon, the 13.1 miles. And
what was her time?
I didn't even ask. She did say maybe 2:30, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Well, let's see. The winning men's time for the full marathon was right around 2:30.
Whew.
So she's just almost half as fast as the fastest man in the race.
Fastest man.
Seems pretty good to me.
Absolutely, bro. Finishing it is such an accomplishment. Somebody tweeted me last night, dude, you should run one with her for solidarity and love. And I said, I'd rather eat my own poop than run a marathon or a half marathon or even a 5K. Would be. I have no interest in it, none whatsoever.
Well, I just don't want to break my streak.
Of not doing it.
Of never running a distance race in my life.
Correct. I don't want to break mine either.
I'm like Lou Gehrig, or I'm like Cal Ripken. I'm crazy. I'm not going to break that streak ever.
It would be like me telling Hannah, to prove your love to me, I need you to come play for the Tier 1s next year. She doesn't play baseball. I'm not saying she couldn't, but I'm not going to ask that of her. And if she asked that of me, I want you to run this with me, I'd be like, then we're splitting up. I don't know what to tell you. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it.
I would walk it, but I think that would be silly to just walk.
You'd be there for 6 hours.
Walking through the streets of San Diego all day long. So will the band still be around 7 hours in when I'm finally crossing the finish line?
I had no desire to be a distance runner. Oh, and I'm surrounded by these lunatics because I talked to my brother yesterday. They're coming in town. My parents are coming in this weekend. From Texas, and my brother's coming in with his family and his wife and his two my nephews, Oliver and Owen. Good kids, can't wait to see everyone. My brother calls me yesterday. He goes, "Hey, real quick, is there what do you recommend I run?" And I go, it's San Diego. It's beautiful. You're standing in a beautiful part of town. And I said, just go run by the beach. I go, how long do you need to run? He goes, 17 miles. And I was like, are you out of your mind? Who are you? What is? He's doing another Iron Man up in Lake Placid, New York. So he's in training. So he's got to do 17 miles when he gets here. I'm surrounded by absolute lunatics in my life. But
just go around the track at the high school 68 times.
Is that right? 68 times is what it would take you.
Yeah. If it's a normal, like, quarter-mile
I
track.
couldn't do it once, man. I could not do it once. It's just my knees hurt. Everything is shot.
How far back would you have to go back cumulatively to add up all of your distance to have run that far?
To have run 17 miles?
Yep. Have you run 17 miles in the last calendar year?
Oh, God.
Oh, God, no.
That's what I'm saying. How
no.
long?
No.
He does it daily.
I mean,
You're
I,
like,
I had to run the mile a few times in, like, junior high
Sure.
and high school. Since then, I've been on a treadmill a few dozen times. But in my life, I'd probably say I'm under 100 for sure. If
Under
not
100
150.
miles?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm under 69 easily. Like easily under. In 48 years, I have not run
Right.
69 miles. That's a promise.
Now, I walk the
Yeah,
golf
I
course.
walk.
That's like 4 miles every time
Yeah.
carrying. It's different. It's not the same.
Not the same. I have great admiration and respect for those that can do it. I'm just not one of them, and really, I have no desire to. If I die, and I'm on my deathbed, you know what I will not lament? The fact that I never did a half or a full. Never. I will never lament it ever. I won't be sitting there going, "God, Woods, you really should have applied yourself and done this." Never. It will never. On my
What would
deathbed.
be the biggest regret
That's a
right
good
now?
one.
Like, oh, Woodsy, you've got 48 hours to live.
So,
What's your
dude,
biggest
so
regret?
the funny thing is I saw something on Instagram or something the other day, and it was like, if it was the golf story. Did you see it? I posted it. Guy says he was playing golf and he got cancer, and he said, "I played my last round of golf today, ever. My buddies took me. He goes, I'm weeks away from leaving this mortal coil." And he goes, "My buddies took me out. I played my last round of golf." And he goes, "So a lesson to all of you out there: do things you love to do, right? And enjoy them." And he's like, I don't regret any of this. Like I don't regret it at all. And I thought to myself, is there anything that I regret that I didn't try? The answer is like unequivocally no. At 48, if the Lord took me today, I'd be like, nobody had it better than me. I had it great. Everything's been great. I have literally done almost everything I want to do. I mean, there's places I would like to go, but as far as like accomplishments and things, man, no. What about you?
I think you hit on it. I would have liked to have seen more of the world.
Seen more of the world is probably it.
It's so hard to make time, especially
Yes.
for international travel, but even places in this country I haven't been to. I was just saying this weekend, I've never been to New Orleans.
Oh, you
I have to go to New Orleans at some point.
You have to.
I'd regret it if I didn't go to New Orleans and enjoy the Cajun, the Creole food at some point and do that. I've got to do that at some point.
There's no question. There's no question. But laying on my deathbed, when that time comes, I think about it a lot. There's nothing really left that I tried a lot of stuff. I tried a lot of stuff for many, many years, and I'm like, I feel like I've done a good job.
I've tried
in
less
that.
stuff, but I don't regret the stuff
That's
maybe
true.
that you tried that I didn't try.
That's true. I've accomplished a lot, and I'm happy, and I'm like, okay, that makes me feel pretty good. But the moral of that story was, do things that you love to do, and do them as much as you can. This golfing story really touched me, and it was sad. I mean, the guy, it was his last round ever, and could only manage a few holes, and then played with his buddies and just rode around in the cart, literally doing like a round of chemo or something in the cart. I mean, it was a terribly sad story, but a good lesson for everybody out there. But yeah, man, really no regrets, dude, at all. And certainly running a marathon or a half marathon will not be on there.
Adam, any dying regrets here on your deathbed? Not that you are, but if you were.
I can't believe you've never been in New Orleans. I love
I know.
New Orleans.
Who doesn't like New Orleans?
no,
Everyone tells
I'm-
me that.
I'm boring. I would like to have seen more of the world, but I'm boring.
I'm also boring.
Yeah, he's also boring.
I don't have any regrets.
None.
Good.
No regrets.
Anything you want to try? Bungee jumping, menage a trois, anything. I mean, all of these things are on the table.
No, my answer to that would also be boring.
Boring. Okay.
I need to buy a house.
Okay.
Can't afford anything here.
That's fair. No, I get it.
Just want to provide for the family, that type of thing. Like I said, I'm boring.
No, it's not boring. You're steady. You're a steady guy. You're a steady guy.
I am. I did something this weekend I've never done in my life. I didn't intend to, but I went to a Hollywood rap party this weekend. and I didn't even know it. We crashed a party.
No kidding.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever crashed a party before.
How's that?
So, Shelly, we went to the desert for her birthday, over to Palm Desert for a couple of nights. And on Saturday night, there's this little place called Little Bar on the 111 in Palm Desert. She said, it's a great little place. Let's go. So we get there, and it says closed for a private event. And I said, oh, that's a bummer, but it said it'll reopen at 8. So we left, and we came back right at 8 o'clock. And we walked in, and apparently the party was still going.
Of course.
So we're there, and it's a Hollywood wrap party for a Discovery Channel show called Alien Abductions Fact or Fiction, I think.
Right up your
And
alley.
they got all the T-shirts and the posters and stuff, but they were having a really good time. They'd been there for a few hours, obviously. They were really happy about it. They saw us, and they said, no, come on in. And they, bought us a round of drinks
that's
and everything.
rad.
Really nice. Now I feel like I should watch the show. I don't,
Of course.
No idea if it's any good or not, but, yeah, they were playing it on the screen, and I saw some, UFO type, looking scenes and something from Nazi Germany, and whether I guess there were aliens back there too. So
of course.
I don't know if it's going to be a good show or not, but it's coming out in June on the Discovery Channel.
So are the wrap parties as wild as I have heard? Was there lines on the table and naked women running
There
around?
were tacos and chips and salsa on the table.
Yeah, sounds delicious.
There was a clown in full clown makeup just sitting at the bar drinking, which
kind of a nightmare.
that was probably the scariest thing I've seen
All right, so
in
hold
many
on.
years, actually.
So this is just from now on, we've had this talk. It's almost 7 years together. Take an effing picture, okay? Why do I have? I
the
still am
clown?
trying to
Yeah.
work his brain,
fine,
Adam,
right.
into realizing that it doesn't end at 10. When we are off at 10, it doesn't stop. I need to see the picture of the guy sitting at the bar in full gear.
Yeah, just sipping on his whiskey.
It's just training your brain.
Big oversized
Yeah.
clown suit, or he was
on.
just extremely heavy, but it looked like he might have had some padding in there as well. The wig, the full makeup, everything.
This is what I'm saying. You're in the entertainment business. We need content. Entertain
It
me.
does feel intrusive to start
No,
taking people's
dude.
pictures, though.
How about the corpse that we
Yeah,
took a picture
I know,
of in
that felt a
Joshua
little
Street?
intrusive.
It was, but you wear it for a while. Oh, man. Well, I'm glad you had a good trip. Glad you got back safely. San Diego Padres were, nothing short of remarkably interesting this weekend, certainly. You can't look at what happened in Kansas City this weekend and say that it wasn't the full gamut of emotions from our local baseball club. So I can't wait to get into this stuff with you guys today. But man, it was somebody just drew in the chat. Was it AJ Preller? I'm not putting this one on AJ Preller today, Drew. I promise you, I'm not going to. But we will talk about where some of the blame goes for yesterday's excruciating loss.
I blame AJ Preller.
Oh, do you? Okay.
I do,
Yeah.
actually, for yesterday's loss. I'll tell you why.
All right, cool.
We will get to all of that. I'll set the menu coming up. Should be a good one. Hopefully, Paulie is sleeping in and having a good Monday morning in Las Vegas.
Did you see his meal he posted from that
I did
place?
not know. Where did? Oh, he ate at the Korean restaurant that he said he was
Yes,
going to.
dude.
Will it look good?
It looks incredible.
Good.
Incredible. So he's having a great time. I saw Megan won a few $100 on the slots, so they're
Good
cruising.
start.
Yeah, great
Good
start.
All right, we'll try to get off to a good start as well. It is Ben and Woods and Adam on a Monday morning. Thanks for joining us on San Diego's #1 sports station. Let's check traffic with Kelly Danick here on 97.3 The Fan, and we'll be right back. Wondering, Woods, if you have at least something in common with Mike Shildt.
Let's see. I'm taller.
Yeah, it's not, I wouldn't say physical resemblance is what I'm thinking.
I don't alibi things as much.
You don't alibi things. That's not bad, but I feel like you like more than me at least. You push back at critics. I just kind of like ignore it usually.
I'd say so.
You
I'm
like
getting
you
better.
push back.
I'm
You're
getting
better,
way
but
better.
You have pushback. And
My skin has gotten a little thicker. A little bit.
From what we've seen from Mike Shildt, he
does
tends
too.
to push back as well. And you've said in the past, and I think you're getting better at this as well, you can be a little petty. And I'm starting to wonder if the ideal season for Mike Shildt now would be to always win every series, but never sweep anything. And still get to the playoffs.
Out of spite.
Just so at the end he can see, I told you we didn't need to sweep anything. You just win series. I'll take that all year long. No problem.
Just throwing games out of spite. Can you imagine? What is he doing? Listen, sometimes it doesn't go your way.
Yep. Yeah, you got to tip your cap to the other team. I mean, we can't sweep every series.
I'm not going to alibi it for you, Benny, but no, bro, that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Now, I think in professional sports, the last person that can be spiteful is the leader, the boss,
yes.
right? Like the manager cannot be spiteful. He can get pissy. No, I'll say this, Ben. When someone tells me, not constructive criticism about the show, like when somebody can say, like, hey, man, have you ever thought about this bit working better here or not doing that? That's fine. I have no problem with that. Like, those are your preferences. We can talk about preferences. But when you tell me I don't know what I'm doing, that's a different story altogether. And I think Mike Shildt sometimes gets the feeling like, do you guys not know that I know this game? Do you not also know that I know this team and what they're capable of? And do you also know we're 50, 60 games in together? We got some time to for it to all filter out. So I can understand that a little bit.
And at this moment, he does feel like everything he said has been correct.
Correct.
From spring training on. Hey, we're not going to be our best. We're going to continue to get better, continue to play better baseball. We're just concerned about winning series. That's going to get us where we need to go
Correct.
if we keep playing the way we're playing. And every time the Padres drop one of these, series finales where they could have swept or have a bad series as fans, we tend to, all right, this is the bottom dropping out. And Mike Shildt is going, this is baseball. This is not
baseball.
the bottom dropping
it's
out
not.
of the season. We're playing good baseball. I expect us to continue playing good baseball. And for now, the Padres have been doing that. They've been playing good baseball, and we will talk about the good baseball they played for pretty much, 26 innings this weekend in Kansas City. And not that they played bad baseball to lose it, but they didn't get the pitching that they needed in the final inning to complete that sweep. But we'll go through all of it as we do on Monday, starting with our Padres wrap-up here at the bottom of the hour, 6:35. We'll talk about yesterday's loss, which can't really be discussed without the context of the first two games. So, it's kind of a holistic discussion, as Mike Shildt would say, of the weekend that was in Kansas City.
Yeah, it's literally impossible to talk about yesterday's loss without talking about Friday, but we'll attempt, I guess, to do it. We don't have to. We can go a more holistic approach today as well. You know what I mean?
Obviously, injuries were a big story this weekend. We'll get into the moves. Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish going on the IL, and what the Padres could do to try to bridge the gap until one or both of those guys can get healthy and get back into the starting rotation. We'll do that at 7 o'clock. Play a little Take on Woods for you at 7:10. At 7:20, we're going to bring you that Tommy Pham audio during Don't Do This.
Yep.
I don't think Woods actually thinks it's a Don't Do This, but some way, somehow, we have to get yesterday's Tommy Pham audio into the program. If you haven't heard it,
it's incredible. It's absolutely
staggering. It goes into the lore of
Tommy Pham.
Yeah. All the good, the bad, the weird,
yeah,
and really the prickly that is Tommy Pham.
He's incredible.
Did it again yesterday with the Chicago White Sox. So we'll play that audio coming up at 7:20. We'll continue discussing the Padres in our second half of the program. Back to a Monday. No Monday show last week. So in-season Sam Levitt hosting some pre- and post-game shows. Although, did he take one of the days off, Adam, over the weekend? I saw Scraby on one of the shows.
Sammy did pregame on Saturday and then took off for postgame. He had a wedding to attend.
Oh, a local wedding.
Yes.
Wow, good for Sammy.
He was fretting on Friday with the weather and a potential delay or a doubleheader. If Friday got canceled, I said, just take it off.
Take your
It's
day
fine.
off. You're fine.
And
we all know he's a hard worker. He's great.
Very hard worker.
We'll
and he
talk
will
to him.
join us at 8:35. At 9 o'clock, we'll cross our fingers. Do you have a Clug Report coming for us at 9 o'clock?
Do I have to?
Yes.
Kind of, yes, you do. You sort of do. And then 9:35, start looking ahead to the Angels series that begins tonight. 3 games at the Big A, Angel Stadium in Anaheim, all 6:38 starts. Padres taking on a team that they should be beating.
Yep.
Maybe even sweeping. But I know Mike Shildt is going to say, just, win the series.
Yeah.
2 out of 3. We're good with that. And it's like we're all going to say, but this is the Angels. They've lost 5 in a row. Just go ahead and win all of them.
Just take them
and
down.
Mike Shildt will be, but all we need to do is win series, and that's fine, and we're doing what we need to do. So I think we're heading down that same road. Or it'll be like the Rockies series, and it'll be complete meltdown if you don't win the series or, God forbid, get swept by the Angels. So, of course, we're all nervous now heading into this series. Nothing good can really happen against the Angels. Only bad things can happen against the Los Angeles Angels. So we'll kind of preview that coming up. This hour on Men of Woods is brought to you by the Farmer's Dog. Fresh, human-grade dog food from a healthier weight to more energy. When you switch your dog's food to the Farmer's Dog, the effects can feel magical. What sorcery is this? None at all. It's just real food made for the health of dogs. Get 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/radio. And I want to remind everybody, since we are now just over 2 weeks away from the 3rd annual-ish Chrome Tour Ben & Woods Open, sign-ups are still open. We have a few foursomes left if you'd like to join us. It's going to be a really fantastic day on Wednesday, June 19th at Goat Hill Park in Oceanside. We've got food, we've got drinks, we've got prizes. We've got some great raffle items that you can win when you come out, but you do have to sign up to be there. Please, if you don't have a foursome, sign up as a twosome or by yourself.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law signed up this weekend as a twosome. I said, well, find you 2 good tier 1s to play with while you're there. Chance to win, lots of Callaway stuff as well while you're out there. But please check out our social channels and sign up, or just Google it, 3rd annual-ish Chrome Tour Ben & Woods Open, and sign up for our golf tournament coming up on June 19th. That's a Wednesday. We have both morning and afternoon waves available. So an 8 a.m. shotgun if you want to play early. We've got a 1 o'clock shotgun if you'd like to play in the afternoon. We'll be there, me, you, and Paulie, all day long.
All day long.
Just mingling with the tier 1s and having a really good time. So looking forward to that coming up 2 weeks from Wednesday. Already June is here. We finally made it through May, and we got into June here.
Finally. All right, let's get it.
All right, let's come back. We will get to our Padres wrap-up highlights of yesterday's tough 4-3 loss to the Kansas City Royals in the bottom of the 9th inning. Update on Luis Arraez, what we've heard from Mike Shildt on the injury he suffered in the 5th inning. All coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, Ben & Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Long day for yours truly. I just found out they need me to anchor the 11 p.m. news tonight on
my God.
Channel 10. So if you want to stay up and
I don't.
see me, put the tie on and do the
whole
serious, the whole
spiel.
shooting match.
God. So you'll do your sports
At the end, like I normally do, but after I've done everything else before that, too.
Wow.
Solo, too. Just solo.
Shut up.
Yeah.
No help?
No help. It's the Ben Higgins newscast tonight at 11
Can you
p.m. on Channel
imagine
10.
the bitching that I would do if I had to do that? Can you, Adam?
I mean, I don't have to.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, Adam can.
I don't have to write all of it. I mean, I write my own sportscast and I edit all my own material. But when it comes to the newscast, there is there's
Prompter.
producer and writers, and I just read the prompter on that. I mean, I'll have to go through it just to make sure I pronounce everything correctly. But
I'm Ben Higgins?
yeah,
Oh,
my Ron Burgundy night tonight.
That is a lot.
On the news.
That is a lot. That's a lot.
I actually enjoy the opportunities to, get into full newscaster mode sometimes.
Lisa says after the once a week bitching for the round table, we can all imagine that. Yes, I know.
Right.
I've said it before. I like the round table. Once I'm done with it, I'm like, I had a great time. It's just that 5-hour day. And like talking about the same thing over and over for 5 hours straight sucks. That's the only thing. And the polo. Those are the only things that suck. That's it. Everything else is great.
Let it be known, I did not tell you have to
I
wear
know.
the polo.
I know. Our boss did.
But all of our bosses,
All of
even
our
Adam's
bosses.
boss.
Even Adam's
yeah.
boss. My headphones
Even
are cut.
Adam has to answer to someone. You thought that maybe Adam was the number one man here at Odyssey. He is actually not.
Absolutely not.
There is a higher chain of command above all of us here. All right, Adam's going to play us our Padres wrap up right after a check of traffic with Kelly here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the Fish Market, serving the freshest catches from waters near, far, and everywhere in between. Great time to be out on the roads, guys. Yeah, not much going on out here. Seeing a little bit of slow traffic developing out of Santee on westbound 52. Heading out of the South Bay, you're looking good. That northbound side of the 5 starting to bunch up a bit around the 54 on up through National City. It's time for giving sips. The Fish Market is donating $1 for every glass of J-Lo wine and for every Cutwater Jungle Bird cocktail sold to Terry Campus of Life. Stop by the Fish Market in downtown or in Del Mar. The Fish Market, serving only the freshest catches. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's a shame if they lose.
Oh, a shame indeed.
It's a complete crap.
Oh, I did not like that.
Here are the lowlights from yesterday's game.
Are you kidding me?
Boo.
It's the Padres wrap-up, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else.
We'll give it 16 minutes of sulk, and then we'll, get back on the bump and figure it out.
It's not your fault.
3 for 5 with a 2-run homer, an RBI single, and a double. Swings at the first pitch, muscles it out to left field. It'll be caught by Jurickson Profar, but plenty deep to get Garcia home. A sac fly for Pasquantino, and the Royals have the first run of the day. Here's the 0-1. Hit hard through the right side and a base hit. Frazier charging. Zokar will round third on his way. The throw, not in time. Throw to second. The tag, and Arise is out. The run scores, and it's a 1-1 game. But now Arise looks like he may be hurt, sitting on the ground near second base. Serpa, long look in. Now the payoff pitch. And Tatis hits it sharply up the middle into center field, and a base hit. Wade will come in to score, and the Padres lead for the first time today, 2-1 here in the 8th.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's execution at its finest.
0-2. Manny stings it into right field. That's a base hit. Frazier has to go way to his right to get it. Fernando's going to come in and score easily. Merrill will stop at third. An RBI single for Machado, and the Padre lead is now 3-1. 1-1 the pitch. Velasquez hits it in the air to center field. Pretty well struck. Merrill's back. Still going back. On the run. Looks up. Hits off the base of the wall. Is going to tie the game. Pasquantino has scored. Blanco is on his way. Velasquez trying for 3. He's there with a 2-run triple. Here's set. Here's the pitch. Lofton swings. Hits it in the air to right field. Fernando backing up. Fighting the sun. Getting ready to make the catch. Velasquez tagging. Here's the throw to the plate. No chance. A sac fly for the Royals. They walk it off with a 3-run 9th inning and avoid the sweep here at Kauffman Stadium.
Yeah, good ball game. Hats off to Wadey. It's gotten played in a while and goes in for Luis, to your question earlier, and immediately makes a great play. big base hit, get the inning started. Then draws a pickoff throw because he's a threat to run. Gets to third. Toddy drives him home. Then good situational hitting by Pro. But of course, Arise had the RBI single earlier. Michael King was fantastic and got through 7. Tough lineup. Delo got his guys in the 8th, and we just weren't able to bring it home.
Yeah, it sucks, man. And we are not used to watching the Padres blow games in the 9th inning. We're just not. It's just not something that has happened this season for us.
I think there's probably people out there going, come on, they've had some bullpen struggles recently.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that they haven't blown games? Well, when they've had a lead of 2 or more runs going into the 9th inning, the Padres had won 68 straight games until yesterday.
That's why it stings so badly. I mean, it just stung so badly. I was playing. The Tier 1s had a doubleheader yesterday, and we had it on in the dugout. And we had just won Game 1, and we are huddled around the phone watching the end of it. And you watched Yuki Matsui yesterday. There were some really uncompetitive pitching. And again, to Salvador Perez. So, I mean, yeah, you want to be a little bit careful, but at some point, you got to just throw your best stuff and let it eat, man, at some point. And I don't know. I think it's a confidence issue with Yuki right now. But again, a lot of people were on Shildt yesterday. A lot of people texted me about it, DM'd me about it. And, man, kind of where I stand on it. Yuki Matsui's got to get those outs there. And they were put in a really tough position on Friday night with Stephen Kolek not being able to hold an 8-run lead. And the ripple effect of all of that catches up. Now, we can argue this morning. Adam and I weren't arguing, but we were talking about it this morning. I thought that was the exact right call. I really did. For what you had on your plate, that was the exact right call for yesterday's game. You got exactly what you needed from everybody else. Michael King was fantastic. The offense scoring and scratching out runs against a great, great young left-handed pitcher in Cole Reagans, having a chance to win that game. 68, Ben. 68 straight with a 2-run lead in the 9th.
And by the way, the Royals had lost 49 straight when trailing by 2 or more.
It's unbelievable.
Going
man.
into the 9th
It's
inning.
unbelievable, and that's why it stings so badly. You feel like you had a sweep in your hands and kind of let it slip through your fingers. And with Yuki Matsui, man, I just don't know. And, you thought you kind of had the back end of the bullpen set up, man, but sometimes situations call for things, and we saw that on Friday. We saw it on Saturday, and we're going to get into all of that as well. We can take your calls on it as well. If you want to get it off your chest, I totally understand. But I really don't have a problem with the way it was managed yesterday. That's what you were going to do there.
I agree. If I had drawn it up before the game, I said,
sure.
Michael King for 7, and then you've got a lead, probably Aniel De Los Santos in the 8th, and I would say Yuki Matsui in the 9th. And part of it's because he's closed before in Japan, so it's not like he's never been in a game in the 9th inning needing to close it down. He's done it a ton in Japan. Now, it's different here, but I wasn't that worried about the experience factor. He's also been throwing really well lately. He had over, I think, 7 consecutive scoreless innings. He got the win on Friday night with a really clean 1-2-3 inning before the Padres made their big rally. And as you said, you can't really discuss yesterday's game without the context of the rest of the weekend. And I mentioned, if you really want to blame someone, I really think the fact that A.J. Preller is insisting on keeping Stephen Kolek, the Rule 5 draft pick, on the roster because he doesn't want to give him back to the Seattle Mariners played a role in it. Mike Shildt kind of has to use every pitcher at some point. And the only time right now you feel it's comfortable to use Stephen Kolek is at a huge margin, whether you're up big or down big. So that was the time you were going to use him. Don't burn another arm. Use Stephen Kolek. The other team's already gone to a position player.
Correct.
So go ahead. Use your last guy in the bullpen there. And he was unable to even keep your closer from having to come into the game on Friday. Then if you want to split hairs, you could have said, well, he could have saved Robert Suarez on Saturday with a 4-run lead in the 9th inning. I didn't have a problem with him bringing Suarez in with a 4-run lead in the 9th inning, either against the heart of the Kansas City Royals order. You want to make sure you win that game.
Bro, it's right there for you. You have to take that. And I know it sucks, and I know people are yelling at their radios right now, but when you have a chance to win that game again, as you mentioned, the heart of the order coming up, after what you saw the night before, and you managed to win that game, you have to take that dub and take that series win. And I understand that it maybe wasn't. It led to that position that we did not want to be in yesterday, needing our closer, who has been phenomenal. But I just think that it was all the right move set up by a real inability to get guys out by Stephen Kolek. So I went this morning and I was like, all right, I want to know what would the potential reason to keep Stephen Kolek on the roster be? And listen, I don't want to pin all of this on him, but I'm looking at his numbers and stuff, Ben. I'm looking at his pitch mix and everything else. I mean, the only thing I can see is he's a pretty elite guy at getting ground balls. I mean, he gets ground balls at a very, very high rate, which is a very valuable skill to have at the big league level. That night, he got hit really hard. He did, and I was looking at there's a guy. If you guys don't follow him, he's amazing. His Letters to AJ. It's on Substack.
Craig has him on a couple of times on the show.
He's phenomenal. So I was reading his latest piece this morning called "Opportunity Costs," and one of the little subsets is "Mop Up Mayhem," and they showed the exit velo from the guys off of Kolek, giving up 5 earned runs on hard contact. 97.5. Now there's 69 mile an hour in there. 105, 101, 103, 102, 87, 104. Just ineffective, man. Just ineffective. And had he been able to just hold that lead, could have swept that series. Should have swept that series.
Now here's the real question though. If you don't have Kolek on the roster, who are you bringing up?
Right.
I mean, right now you have Logan Gillespie already up.
Correct.
You have Randy Vasquez already up. You don't have a lot of ready-made, better options in AAA who are going to take his spot. So it's not necessarily what do you love about Stephen Kolek. It's that
what you don't
if we
have.
get rid of another pitcher, we don't have anyone really to replace him with. Jackson Wolf, you want to bring in a guy who struggled in the minor leagues to replace Kolek and give Kolek away. I understand the decision to keep him, and I understand the decision of Mike Shildt to have to occasionally use him if he's going to be on the roster. Here's the one that kind of stuck in my brain, though. Had Tom Cosgrove not struggled the way he did, if he pitched like last year and he was still here, and you were trying to keep Stephen Kolek, who wasn't on the roster earlier, for the last month on the season? Jeremiah Estrada probably never gets up to the
Correct.
big leagues if Tom Cosgrove doesn't struggle because you're trying to keep Stephen Kolek. Now, that's concerning that you did have someone that you were excited about, and you would have left him dying in AAA because you wanted to keep Stephen Kolek on the roster. Now, with some injuries, Estrada's already here. I don't know that anyone else is knocking on the door necessarily. It's not as big of a deal to me that Stephen Kolek is on the roster.
Yeah, people are throwing names in the chat, and we can answer them one at a time if you want. Somebody said, what about Kevin Kopps? Kevin Kopps has walked 19 hitters in 25 innings. That's not good. That can't happen. So, obviously, some control issues there.
Alec Jacob has struggled, I believe, at AAA this season as well. I mean...
So, yeah, I feel like if there was somebody that was banging down the door like Estrada did, I feel like that they would be here. I see people saying, is it a pride thing with A.J. Preller? Can't answer that.
I think the poker analogy, at some point you feel almost pot committed.
Pot committed.
Like, okay, we've already gone 2 months with this guy. If we can keep him for the rest of the season, we get to keep him. We can put him in the minor leagues again next year. And now we've wasted 2 months when now we're going to give him up for nothing. So that is essentially admitting that we made a huge mistake. If you give him back, then you should never have had him on the roster to begin with.
Yeah.
So there is you can call it pride, but you can also call it, at some point, it becomes strategy, and you're trying to get all the way through. If you want to nitpick, and there was one thing, and we both agreed on it, about Mike Shildt yesterday, and I said this before the game, I would have started Kyle Higashioka again at catcher after he hit the home run and hit the ball hard on Saturday. And he hasn't really had a chance to play consistently. And Luis Campusano has struggled at the plate. It would have been okay for me to give him 2 days in a row off.
Campy struggled behind the plate as well.
Yes.
I mean,
and give Higashioka another chance. Now, would that have made a difference in the game? I don't know. I mean, Campy didn't do anything. Higashioka might not have done anything either. But I would have ridden the hot hand and given my backup 2 days in a row and really let Campy kind of clear his head and get a full 2 days off. He's worked a lot this year. It really would have been fine for me to give him another day off. But maybe, I don't know, maybe King is more comfortable with Campy. King threw well, and you've got to give Campy some credit for that with what he did for the starting pitcher. So I don't know that would have made a difference, but I would have thought, I would have considered. But then, of course, then you'd had him today with Waldron going, and that would have been 3 in a row. So maybe that was part of the equation.
But I mean, you're not dancing around on purpose, but you're basically saying that there's a problem behind the dish with this team, and it's a severe one right now. Really, I mean, Luis Campusano is not playing well on really either side of the ball, and I think we're all fine with maybe not the world beater catcher offensively. But, man, defensively, Campy, all his numbers have come way down. He's like the second worst catcher in baseball defensively right now. And I'm talking defensive run saved. I'm talking framing. I'm talking the inability to throw anybody out. I'm talking all of it. All of it. And then you throw in his 5 for 50, which is the streak he's on currently. We've got a little bit of a problem here behind the dish. So hopefully these guys can get it figured out, man, and get the rotation works. But I see everybody up Kyle Higashioka's butt, and the guy gets 7 starts a month essentially, and it's like, man, he's middle of the road defensively, which we'll take that defensively right now.
Craig Elston made the point in the roundtable last week that if you are starting to look ahead to the trade deadline where the Padres could need some help, catcher is a position you now have to consider as somewhere you can upgrade. Now, Adam, you said you were looking at who are some of the guys who are available, maybe on teams that are struggling. It's not a great list of names that could be available on the trade market.
Well, the idea that you want to upgrade at catcher means a better catcher has to be available, and there just aren't that many. I don't think the Braves would trade their backup catcher, Travis d'Arnaud. He's a team leader. They paid him a lot of money. Murphy's been hurt. I was looking at some last place teams. I mean, Elias Diaz in Colorado seems like an option. He's a rental player, so he'll be a free agent at the end of the year.
Trading in the division, though. Who knows if they'll do that? Danny
Jansen's having a pretty solid year for the Blue Jays. Another rental player going into free agency. Blue Jays are in last place.
They just said, though, they're not trading Guerrero or Bichette, even though there's interest. Will they trade other guys at some point? Maybe.
And, Logan O'Hoppe, if you think the Angels just are perpetually terrible and might trade somebody, but he's pre-arb, so he's got plenty of control left, which makes him, under control, and maybe not. It would take a lot to trade for him and pry him away from the Angels.
He's having a good year, really good year. So, yeah.
But that's who you try to build around if you're the Angels 100%. And you're struggling. You don't trade those guys away.
Correct.
You try to acquire more of those guys when you're in a position that the Angels are in. We can scout them out the next couple of days. We'll talk more. So you heard the Arise injury. We'll give you that update and talk about Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove and what the Padres have got to do to stay afloat in their pitching rotation. Coming up next with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. We'll be right back. All right, let's start with the what appears to be somewhat better injury news for the San Diego Padres. Welcome back. 7 a.m. It's Ben and Woods, Monday morning on 97.3 The Fan. Luis Arias was hurt yesterday in the fifth inning, trying to stretch that single into a double, which, with the play at the plate, I think he thought he's probably going through, but they ended up getting him at second, and unfortunately, he jammed his shoulder/neck, sliding into second base and getting tagged out. He stayed in the game for the next half inning to play defense, but then in the sixth, they took him out of the game, and of course, he's been so good. Any thought that you're going to lose Luis Arias for any period of time is now cause for extreme concern among the San Diego Padres. Mike Shildt said after the game, it was really a precaution, and, right now it's looking like best-case scenario, and Arias, I believe, said after the game, I'm okay. So hopefully that means he'll be available tonight, or if not tonight, within the next day or two to get back into the Padres lineup, because I don't even want to imagine the Padres without Luis Arias anymore. Since he's been here, it's just he has been a difference maker for this team.
I was just going to say, is this an extreme take? I never want to see him play in another uniform for the rest of his career.
Yeah, it's extreme, but
is it?
It's not necessarily. It's not wrong. It's extreme, but it's not wrong.
I never want to see him play for another team again.
In baseball, there are so few players that remain with one team for the bulk of their careers, and he is still. He's not. How old is he? 26, 7 years old. He's got many, many years likely to go, hopefully. Maybe, 10, 12 years. To say he will never play for another team is somewhat extreme.
He's 27 years old.
27.
I never want to see him in another uniform, ever. And I know that the debate about Luis Arias will rage on for the rest of his career. How could a guy like this, he's already been on 3 teams, and Tony Gwynn Jr. was talking about it. Some teams don't value what he brings to the table. I do. I absolutely do. And I think a lot of Padres fans out there do. And I think that maybe on certain teams it's not as valuable. It is massively valuable for this team. Do I wish he hit more doubles? Yes, of course. Do I wish he had 20 home run power? Of course. He's so good bat to ball. But what he does, he is the best at. The best.
I think here's an interesting question, and this may be something to talk about for, months to come, but would you want to see Luis Arias try to change his game at all?
No. Not really at all.
Not really. Tony Gwynn evolved as a baseball player.
A lot of guys do.
And I would always think that every player is going to try to get better, but I would also caution Luis Arias. You don't want to get away from what you do so well. And that short swing, that bat to ball, even though it's not going to produce a lot of power and extra base hits, I don't think I want to see him change too much of what he's doing to try to add OPS or try to add more slug to his game at the expense of what he does so well.
I'm telling you, the only thing I would do differently with Luis Arias is maybe hit him somewhere else in the order, because the stats were posted over the weekend. Career batting average with bases empty, 307. Phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Men on base, 365. Runners in scoring position, 372. That's insanity to me. That's insanity. You know how hard that is to do. Leading off is really hard. He does it really well. Hitting with men on base, really hard. He does it very well. Hitting with runners in scoring position can prove impossible to the San Diego Padres sometimes, and he does it at a 372 clip. I don't want him to go anywhere else. He is a perfect fit for our team, a perfect fit for our culture, a perfect fit for our fan base. He has been such a breath of fresh air for this team. Maybe the biggest that we've had here in so many years, Ben, of covering the team together. The guy's unbelievable. The work ethic that he has, the dedication to his craft. He is a guy I want here until he's done. He is just fantastic. Fantastic.
Before we get to the other injury news, I want to throw out the numbers for a contestant for Take on Woods. So there's no qualifying today. If you beat or tie Woods, you are just winning a prize. It's tickets to the Kings of Late Night at the San Diego County Fair on June 21st. It's comedy. Jay Leno, Craig Ferguson, Arsenio Hall. We've got tickets for that show for you. If you call in now, 833-288-0973, and Battle Woods in our musical trivia game coming up in about 5 minutes, you can win those today, 833-288-0973. So hopefully Arise is fine. Obviously, on Saturday, we got the somewhat disturbing news that both Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove are headed back to the injured list for the second time this season. It's a strained groin, which is not good, but you could see something was off in his legs in the last couple of starts as he struggled after his 25-inning scoreless streak. So hopefully that's a couple of weeks and he's feeling fine again and picks back up where he left off before he got hurt. With Joe, it's obviously more concerning. He had this 2-week rest already, came back, looked fine, but the triceps tendonitis, the elbow inflammation that he's getting, it's coming back again. You figure he's got to go down for a longer period of time if it's just rest this time, and that's just still kind of being hopeful that does anything when he comes back. And if it doesn't help, at that point you're going to have to start considering other more invasive surgical perhaps options for Joe Musgrove.
More dire options,
yeah.
And it's tough. I mean, he pitched really well his last time out, and Yu has shown flashes of dominance this year. And again, you don't want to get to the end of the season, Ben, and lamenting, what might have been if you and Joe had just stayed healthy. You have to do something to you got to do something to alleviate those concerns. And I know right now you're playing with the teams you're playing. I don't want to say it's never a good time to have two of your best pitchers out. If it had to come at a certain time, now is better than it has been. Does that make sense? With a little bit softer schedule, you do feel like if the offense can mash, and if some of these guys can just step up and give you quality innings, 4 or 5 innings, and I'm so worried about the bullpen being just overtaxed with guys that are used to throwing at least 6 when they go out every single time. You can't just go find those guys. They don't really exist. You can't just pluck them off a tree. It's going to cost you.
Randy Vasquez did a more than decent job stepping in at the last minute on Saturday. The question now is, what will they do with Yu Darvish's scheduled start tomorrow? And the speculation, Dennis Lin writing about it in The Athletic, that it's going to be time to call up one of the kids. And Adam Mazur is first up. We'll see if they make that move tomorrow, but he got promoted from AA to AAA. The numbers in AAA haven't been as good, but if you read Matt Friars, you know that the Pacific Coast League is going to do that to numbers, and some of the numbers behind the numbers have still looked good with Adam Mazur, and that would be my guess that we will see the first of the young wave of starting pitchers coming up tomorrow, with Adam Mazur making his debut, his major league debut against the Los Angeles Angels tomorrow night. Now, what can you expect? You don't really know when a rookie comes up. Could be great. Could be awful. Could be anything with Adam Mazur tomorrow, but that's what the Padres have been pressed into, and that's what these guys are there for. A.J. Preller talked in spring training about, relying on these young guys and giving them an opportunity at some point. They didn't do it at the start of the season, at least pitching-wise. We'll see if they are ready to start bringing up the first of that wave tomorrow.
We need a Mad Friars chat. I think what is the long way of saying this. I need Kevin Charity to call in today, tomorrow. I need Mark Wilkins, one of those guys, to call in today or tomorrow and let everybody know what to expect. Because people again are just throwing out names. Somebody said Sean Reynolds. He's terrible. Just not effective at all. And that was a guy that we got back for. We got him. Yeah. No. He was.
That was Jay Groom. Yeah.
Yeah. We got him in a deal we did with Miami.
The Weathers deal.
The Weathers deal.
Yeah.
And Weathers, by the way, has been lights out. Lights out for Miami. So, listen, can't cry over.
Jackson Wolf threw really well yesterday.
He threw yesterday. So.
I don't know that means he's ready to come up. Obviously not tomorrow, but.
Right.
It's just there's no obvious answer right now, and Mazur's
there's no Paul Skeens waiting down there to make his debut. Not yet. So we'll keep you guys abreast of that. But I would like to check in with the guys from Mad Friars, Adam. So if you can make that happen, that'd be great.
And before you do that, though, why don't you get us to today's game of Take on Woods?
It's time for Take on Woods.
Woods. Woods.
James is our contestant for Take on Woods today. Good morning, James. How are you?
Good morning.
All right. As I mentioned, if you can beat or tie Woods, we're just going to hook you up instantly with a pair of tickets to Kings of Late Night at the San Diego County Fair on June 21st, featuring Jay Leno, Craig Ferguson, and Arsenio Hall. Tickets are on sale now at sdfair.com. Give you the category choices to give you a little advantage. We've got It's Not False. That one you just figure out as you go. We've got Ooh, I Know This One. Those are 5 bands with double O's in their name. And we have a mystery category, which is revealed with the first song, the 2-second song. So that's all I can give you right now, but you make the choice between It's Not False, Ooh, I Know This One, or the mystery category, James.
Let's go mystery.
All right, mystery category. I'll let Adam get that fired up, and I will remind you that Take on Woods is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes, and you don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. You'll have 60 seconds to answer up to 5 questions. If you don't know one, say pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock, and we'll start out with the 2-second song. Adam will play 2 to 5 seconds of a song. You need to give me the title and the artist to score that one. And keep in mind, it's the mystery category, so either the title or the artist will very much reveal what the theme is for the rest. But you can always pass and figure it out as you go, like Woods does. So, James, are you ready to play?
Let's go.
All right, Adam, you ready to go? All right, 60 seconds on the clock in the mystery category. Starts with our 2-second song. Your time begins when Adam plays the music. Good luck, James. Let's take on Woods.
That's Pink. Pass on the song.
Okay, which English band has sold over 250 million albums, including Grammy Hall of Famers The Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall?
Pink Floyd.
Correct. Henry Mancini composed which famous theme used for both the Inspector Clouseau movies and cartoons involving a colorful feline?
Pink Panther.
Correct. John Mellencamp asked the question, Ain't That America? In which correct. Which colorful 2016 song by Frank Ocean is produced by Pharrell Williams and features additional vocals by Beyonce?
Pass.
Go back to our 2-second song. We just need the title.
Rockstar.
You can hear it. You've got you're singing it to you. So What is the name of the title by Pink? But you did get 3.
Sing more, please.
Pink Floyd, Pink Panther, Pink Houses, and then the tough one, Frank Ocean's, called Pink and White. But you did get 3, and hang on the line there, James. That could be good enough, maybe even for a tie. We'll see. Get Woods back in and reset everything. All right, James's score is locked in.
James got a good shot, man. I am not feeling sharp.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Adam plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on James.
That's Pink, but I don't know the name of the song yet.
All right. Which English band has sold over 250 million albums, including Grammy Hall of Famers The Dark Side of the
Pink
Moon?
Floyd.
Correct. Henry Mancini composed which famous theme used for both the Inspector Clouseau movies and cartoons involving a colorful feline?
Pink Panther?
Correct. John Mellencamp asked the question.
Pink Houses.
Correct. Which colorful 2016 song by Frank Ocean is produced by Pharrell Williams and features additional vocals by Beyonce?
Pink Taint.
Incorrect. So do you know the title of our mystery
Pink song? Play it
yes.
again. I don't. I'm out.
Then we've got a tie. 3-3. Good job, James. Neither of you could get you played the exact same game.
Did we?
You got Pink, but not the title. Got the next 3 and didn't know Pink and White by Frank Ocean. But So What?
Not Pink Taint?
Not Pink Taint. So What by Pink. But James, that is good enough. We're going to send you to the San Diego County Fair and tickets to the Kings of Late Night comedy show on June 21st. Congratulations. Hang on the line. Adam will get all your information during our break. And then we'll come back with Don't Do This with the Tommy Pham audio from yesterday. A unique national anthem performance and some heartwarming stories from the world of golf over the weekend as well. All coming up next with Ben Woods after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Air Max, San Diego's highest-rated heating and air company. Visit them at airmax.com. Seeing a lot of slowing out of the South Bay, northbound side of the 805, all due to this crash before Imperial. It was blocking middle lanes. They managed to get everything moved over to the right shoulder. Also, northbound side of the 5 at J Street, our Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows a stalled car in the center divide. Looking for the best in HVAC? Choose Air Max, San Diego's highest-rated heating and air company with free diagnostics on all repairs and estimates. See why over 1,300 happy customers have given Air Max 5-star Yelp reviews. See Air Max today at airmax.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And Kim crosses the plate.
You can listen to every Padres game along with all the music and news that San Diego needs right here on the Odyssey app. Download it today.
Hey, it's Ben, still going strong, keeping that weight off. I lost 40 pounds in 60 days last summer, thanks to sdfatloss.com. But the key is keeping the weight off, sustaining the weight loss. And I have not gained a single pound back. And it really hasn't been that hard. And I credit the program and how they go about it, because there's no shakes or bars or mixes to buy or injections, hormones, or drugs. You're just eating real food. So when it's done, guess what? You're eating real food again. It is so much easier to transfer to the maintenance phase of the program. They'll explain all of this to you when you call for your free no-obligation consultation at 858-665-3211 or go online to sdfatloss.com. And if you do, make sure you mention my name, Ben, from 97.3 The Fan, because you're getting $200 off the program. Right now, during the summer, we've been running this for a while. We really want you to change your life. It changed mine. It can change yours as well, and you do it without
messed up, guys?
You idiot. You moron. You dumbass.
The apple sometimes does fall from the tree.
Don't do this
Do not tweet that.
with Ben and Woods
I like a Nickelback song or two.
on 97.3 The Fan.
Don't Do This, brought to you by the Craft Taco in Sereno Valley. Craft Taco has some of the best quality tacos in all of San Diego. Go to thecrafttaco.com. Take a look at their happy hour specials today, crafttaco.com. I will admit, today's Don't Do This stories are a little bit up to interpretation.
Yeah.
But we just wanted to get to both of these, so we squeezed them in this segment.
So I saw people, Benny, I'll get us started. I saw people complaining about this guy whistling the national anthem at an Orioles game.
Well, I may be one of them. 'Cause
Okay.
I don't love this sound. It
Okay.
kind of gives my spine chills.
All right, well,
but-
let's hear the audio first. This is Chris Ullman, who was whistling the national anthem before the Orioles took home a 6-1 win against the Red Sox last week. Whoa. It's like a pan flute. I think it's beautiful. Oh. It doesn't make you feel patriotic?
Frijoles says this guy blows.
He does. Yeah, he does. Literally, that's what he's doing. All right, so I saw people complaining about this gentleman doing this, but how could you complain about a literal member of the International Whistling Hall of Fame?
There's an International
Yes, there is.
Whistling Hall of Fame.
And this dude's been in it since 2012, okay? So he knows what he's doing. Notable whistling experiences for Ullman have included serenading George W. Bush and Dick Cheney in the White House, whistling the national anthem at sporting events, including but not limited to Wednesday's game, and performing with 10 different symphony orchestras. I would like your best attempt at the national anthem right now. That is absolutely terrible.
I can't get that high.
Yeah, I know.
What about you? All right, you're definitely better than I am.
think I
There's
could
no doubt about that.
Give me like a year of practice. I will be your next international whistling.
I don't want to be around you for the year of practice. So.
Well, wait. Can you imagine my ego if I do get inducted into the Whistling Hall of Fame? Like, I would be unbearable to be around.
Do I have to go to the ceremony?
Yeah, dude, you have to present me.
That
You have
feels
to
like
do the
that would be
speech.
that feels like that would be a rough ceremony. Lots of whistling.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of
whistling,
people.
lots of whistlers.
All the performances are whistling.
Yeah, it's 50.
I don't know about this.
50 minutes of performances. I love it. So my don't do this is all the people that were complaining about a Hall of Famer whistling the national anthem.
Okay, so I know you are a bit infatuated with Tommy Pham.
A little bit.
I just don't see how. I know some Padres fans were hoping that he would come back, and he has produced fairly well, having a good season for the Chicago White Sox after he signed with them back in April. But the Tommy Pham experience does come with. I'd be on edge if he was my teammate the whole time. Like, what is Tommy Pham going to get us into?
Yes.
Next, and this happened. So yesterday, Tommy Pham was on third base. The White Sox were down 1 to the Milwaukee Brewers. A shallow fly ball was lifted to left field, and he got the go signal from his third base coach. He was thrown out by a fairly good margin, 2 or 3 steps at home plate. And then when he got up, I guess William Contreras, the catcher, had something to say to Tommy Pham. And Tommy Pham, those were them's fighting words to Tommy Pham. He had to be held back by multiple teammates. And then as he's going back out on the field, he starts giving like a shadow boxing, punch, showing his jabs. And this is what he had to say, edited, after the game.
No, that's the wrong one.
That's the wrong one.
One-run ball game, close play at the plate. And actually, it wasn't even close. There's a shallow fly ball to left field. You would expect the left fielder to throw the base runner out on that play, but the situation of the game, third base coach sends you got to go. I'm nailed out at home by a mile. I'm going to the dugout, and then, I hear the tough guy with all the hoorah, so I'll never start anything, but I'll be prepared to finish it. There's a reason why, I do all kinds of fighting in the off season, because I'm prepared to somebody up. So you can take it as what it is.
Take it as what it is. Hey, listen, you can say whatever you want about Tommy Pham. Do the Padres have anybody on their current 26-man roster that would, I don't know, defend themselves or a teammate?
But against what? I mean,
well, listen,
to me, here's what happened in this situation.
You're right. He went out of the way to slide into control. If he had just done the slide they normally do, and if he dove,
it might have been a closer play.
He probably would have beat it.
He was like in the wrong spot. Made it an easy out.
His route was horrible.
My guess is that Contreras said something like, "You don't go on that weak fly ball." It was like something weak. He was mad about the weird angle he took. That it
Probably
seemed a little
mad about
unsafe.
the angle, yeah.
That was coming in. So Contreras said something. And Tommy was kind of in the wrong there. I mean, he shouldn't have been sent. He was mad at his own third base coach, who he threw under the bus. So he was mad about getting sent. He then took a really weird line. I mean, Tommy Pham was the one who caused all of this. I don't blame William Contreras for jawing at him a little bit, going, what are you doing, man? What was that you just saw? So
in the heat of a game, that stuff happens too, like where you're yelling at each other, but it's more because you're like fired up. And that's probably what happened with Contreras. It was clean. I mean, it was clean. It really was. We went out of the base, but it wasn't like a dirty play at all, really. But people look. The reactions vary. Here's Mel in the chat saying Tommy's a clown, and then other people are like, I love Tommy Pham. But I think he's got that. Look, he's fascinating. He's fascinating.
Well,
with the
he's
cover.
fascinating.
He's fascinating.
It's fascinating.
The shadow box bit, I died when he's looking out there. I mean, it was incredible. He is a absolute competitor, though. Like, he wants to win. He works hard. I mean, dude.
But it makes you wonder.
In a brawl, don't you want him?
Well, but when he was with the Padres,
yeah.
And of course he got stabbed outside of a strip club.
He sure did.
Don't you feel like there was probably a moment when Tommy Pham could have walked away from that?
I don't know that he walks away a lot.
But that's the thing. Sometimes you do need to walk away for your own well-being, for the good of your team. Sometimes you need to walk away from things. And Tommy, he doesn't walk away from things.
He doesn't.
He hears everything, and he has to say something and stand up to everything. And to me, if that was my teammate, I wouldn't like that. I would like
just scary.
Just come on, just go with the flow, just a little bit, man, please.
He's
it's a long season.
He's a guy. Going out with a guy like that at night, you're like, what are we gonna get into? I was that guy in my 20s. My friends, like,
I wouldn't want to go out with you then.
My friends and their wives would be like, you can't go out with Woods. Like, you never knew what was gonna happen. But not like Tommy Pham. I just think on the bench, you want that guy on your team. That guy's gonna have your back, and he also may kill you.
Does he add a seed of doubt to the minds of the other team?
Yes.
I will admit that.
It's the eyewash was unreal. The eyewash, the shadow boxing was unreal. We probably need to bang your sweet and lovable golf stories. We can get to them.
All right, little breaking Padres news.
This is breaking news from 97.3 The Fan.
And do this,
breaking
I would
news
say.
Presented by BetQL. Smarter bets start with BetQL. Download the BetQL app or visit BetQL.com today. Well, it certainly could be. If it works out well, but Robert Murray reporting what we discussed earlier. He says the San Diego Padres are calling up pitching prospect Adam Mazur, according to a source familiar with the situation. Mazur, the Padres' number 5 prospect, is expected to start on Tuesday, tomorrow night, against the Los Angeles Angels. So he will take Yu Darvish's turn in the rotation and make his major league debut tomorrow, just up the road in Anaheim. He's definitely been the strongest of the performers for the young Padres pitching staff in the minor leagues so far this year, earning a promotion up to AAA about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And now he's going to get a chance in the big leagues.
Love it, man.
Hopefully, he'll have some bullpen behind him.
Yeah.
Whether it's, Johnny Brito, someone long, but, he's been throwing down there. So we will see what happens tomorrow with Adam Mazur, the first of the young guns coming up. There's, Robbie Snelling, maybe in a couple of years, Dylan Lesko. But Adam Mazur is the first to graduate and come up to the big leagues, and he will get the start tomorrow.
I love a
against the
debut.
Angels.
I love a debut. I'm excited about it.
And that's don't and do this for a Monday. All right, we will come back and we will get into the other two games of the weekend, Friday and Saturday, the craziness of the Padres' 2 victories in Kansas City after we discuss the craziness of the loss already in our first hour. That's coming up next with Benna Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Express Employment Professionals. If you're ready for a new job, let Express Employment Professionals help. Express is your one connection for a summer job in a variety of industries. Job seekers never pay a fee at Express. Go to expresspros.com to find your location. That's expresspros.com. My son's starting a new job today.
Really?
Yeah. He's actually going to be working at the same place his brother is working because he's had a good experience and they needed another employee. So
Killer.
now they're going to both be at the same store in Carlsbad.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. I don't know if I could have worked with my brother.
I assume they're probably not going to be working at the same time.
Same
mostly.
shift?
It's like, yeah, they're just going to be covering different shifts. But
That's good.
yeah, he's nervous. Well, everyone's nervous on the first day of a new job.
Every time. Never not.
I remember the first day we walked in here. Very nervous.
Oh, my God. I was a wreck.
Yeah.
A wreck. Thanks, Adam. Wonder why. We don't have to get into it right now.
Am I catching strays over here?
Good vibes on a Monday.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's check traffic. When we come back, I want to talk about, yes, it was a series win, which means the Padres did take 2 in a row on Friday and Saturday.
God, felt
and
good.
they were wild games, especially Friday, of course.
Oh,
we'll
my
get
God.
to that coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the Grilling Store at Hillcrest Ace Hardware on University Avenue in Hillcrest. Some problems in the North County, northbound 5 coastline before Cannon. There is a stalled car blocking the slow lane. Also traveling on southbound 5 right before the racetrack. Reports of a possible fire, some smoke visible from the right shoulder. Also got a collision blocking the right lane on eastbound 78, just past Nordall Road. The Grilling Store at Hillcrest Ace Hardware on University Avenue in Hillcrest. Now through Father's Day, save up to $200 on select Traeger wood pellet grills. You heard right, up to $200. The Grilling Store at Hillcrest Ace Hardware, where service still matters. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, so we have never seen anything like Friday's 8th inning for the San Diego Padres. In franchise history, I was watching the game, and, you know, it was such a weird game because, of course, it started out as a pitcher's duel on Friday between Dylan Cease and Michael Wacha. 5 scoreless innings from both of them. Michael Wacha, by the way, doing so with a broken foot. First batter of the game, Luis Ariz hit a liner. And he stayed in the game, but as it turned out, they put him on the injured list yesterday because they realized he had a broken foot, and he pitched 5 scoreless innings with that. Dylan Cease kept the game scoreless, and it was 0-0 going into the 6th. Now, that's when the offense started. The Padres scored a couple on a Tatis double and a Profar single, but then Cease allowed 3 in the bottom of the inning, and you're going, uh-oh. All right, are they going to drop this series opener? So it's 3-2 going into the top of the 8th inning. And I'm just sitting there watching, and it's single.
I got it right here.
Whole inning, yeah.
Yep. Luis Ariz leads off with a single. Tatis, single. Profar, single.
Bunt single.
Jake Cronenworth, single. Machado, single. Donovan Solano, single. Jackson Merrill, single. Hassan Kim with 1 out, singles. Ariz, singles. Tatis struck out. Profar.
Bad call.
Yeah, bad call. Profar, singles. Cronenworth, doubles, breaking up the singles streak. 11-3. So you're looking at that, and you're going, well, this is the greatest night of my life. This is fantastic. What an easy dub for our San Diego Padres.
The 11 hits in the inning were a franchise record, and the 7 straight singles to open the inning as well. And it was Ariz's 4th 4-hit game. He had 2 of his hits that inning since he's joined the San Diego Padres.
That is insane.
And the Padres had 6 different players with multiple hits in the game.
Just a beautiful
And
sight.
before we talk about what happened after that, I will say it is part of the approach of the San Diego Padres. Now, it doesn't usually work out quite that well, but we've seen this team working on putting the ball in play. And it has come at the expense of some of the slug. They have not hit home runs the way they did in the past. They also don't have quite as many home run hitters as they had in the past.
The ones we have are not.
And the ones that they have are not hitting home runs. But they're putting the ball in play. And when it comes together and they're handing the baton from one player to the next in the lineup, as they like to say, it can look really, really special, like it did in that inning.
It was beautiful. It was just one of the most beautiful half innings I've ever seen in my whole life. Jumping up and down, this is incredible. Wandy Peralta comes in, gives you a scoreless 8. And then Stephen Kolek comes in with an 11-3 lead. Ben. He got
after the Royals have already thrown in the towel and put a position player in to pitch the top of the ninth.
Yeah.
So they have essentially
Punted.
raised the white flag on
Yeah.
the game. It's over.
Bro, that half inning. How long did that half inning take?
I don't know.
50 minutes, it felt like. I could feel my heart. I could hear it. Like I could hear my heartbeat lying in bed watching the game. Hannah was out to dinner with some girlfriends, and the kids were down. And I'm just laying there, Benny, and I have gnarled my nails by the time that inning is over. Stephen Collette comes in.
I was just hoping, don't make Robert Suarez get up in the bullpen.
You don't even want
Don't
him.
even let him waste a couple of pitches warming up just in case he has to come in.
Anything, nothing.
But obviously it got beyond that point because once the tying run was in the hole, making it a save situation, Mike Shildt did in fact go to Robert Suarez. Now you can argue, should he have stuck with Stephen Kolek a little bit longer? But then Suarez comes in, gives up the 2-run single, and all of a sudden it's a 3-run game. There's 2 runners on. The tying run is at the plate.
At the plate.
And at this point you go,
This
would be one of the most unthinkable
this is it for
losses in baseball history.
Yeah, this is over for us. And when he hit it,
Nelson Velasquez.
Nelson Velasquez. When he hit that ball,
it was gone. I mean, I was watching on the TV. I was 100% sure that was a home run. Don didn't help. He had the reaction that made you think that it was gone. Do we have Jesse's call of that, Adam? Can you find that?
That's a lot to ask from
you don't have to find it
right
instantly,
now.
but
he's sweating. I can see it.
Of the final out on Friday, because I didn't hear that one because I was out of town, but I did hear Don and Don's reaction and just the way it came off the bat. I was certain the game was tied.
Well, he was pimping it too. He stared at it because he thought he got it.
Oh yeah, everything about it screamed game is tied 11-11, and I'm going, can they come back and win this game? I mean, the base is going to be empty. It's going to go to extra innings probably.
Even if they do, you're like, that's the worst win we've ever had.
Right.
That's a win that it already felt a little bit like an L in that.
Let's see how Jesse did it. All right, here's Jesse's call of that. Nelson Velasquez, potential game tire.
First pitch to Velasquez, swung on, sent in the air to deep left field. Zokar is back at the wall. He's got it, and the ball game is over. About as an adventurous of a bottom of the ninth as you could ever dream of in what was an 11-3 game.
I mean,
wow,
you guys. So the ripple effect of that, of course, with Stephen Kolek not being able to hold an 8-run lead and having to use Robert Suarez, who, again, Robert almost gave it up. I mean, it was like, it just felt like the Royals' night.
I've got to feel like, and not to alibi or make excuses for Robert Suarez, but you're probably not in the mental situation at 11-3 that now, I need to get ready, prepared to come into this ninth inning to finish the game. You're in kind of post-game, all right, let's move on to the next one mode. No, and that is not a criticism of Robert Suarez. Anyone in their right mind would be like, all right, mentally, I've shifted off for this game. They're not going to need me. It's time for me to get into relaxation mode so I can get ready for the next game when they might need me. So I wasn't expecting Robert Suarez to be at his best when he went in a situation like that.
This game, it's got me nervous right now talking about it, and it's already over, and we won. It still gives me agita. Like my stomach is still in knots thinking about that. But the ripple effect of that. So if you're Mike Shildt, we'll talk about. You want to talk about the next game now?
Well, because these two games go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Because it was still a close game. Obviously, they'd used Jeremiah Estrada in that 2-2 game when Dylan Cease.
What did you think about that move? At the time, I loved it. I'm like, this is Mike Shildt.
Well, it turned out not to matter, but for Mike Shildt to end the longest strikeout streak in baseball history by calling for an intentional walk after he called a guy in from the bullpen. Had he struck out the next guy and it wouldn't have counted as number 14, I would have lit up Mike Shildt today. Why not just intentionally walk the guy before you
Let's swear it.
Let's swear that one and give Estrada at least a chance at the 14th strikeout. Now, he gave up the sac fly. It didn't matter, but have at least some awareness of history that's going on your own team.
But
you can't do that to your player.
But here's the thing. I am the worst for this, and I get it. I don't care. It was a great moment. Even Shildt, when we brought it up Friday, did you hear how he answered the question? He's like, yeah, it was good for him. I mean, it's not something you should be thinking about as a manager, really. Honestly, I really believe that. Like, could he have said to Dylan, give him the 4? Yeah, of course he could have. Should he have? I don't know. I didn't care. I just want to win ball games, like at any cost. Do what we have to win games. I was not upset about that really at all. And maybe people think that I should be. I really was.
So then
this isn't DiMaggio's 56th hit streak. You know what I mean?
But you got to give him a chance to keep it going.
I know.
You gotta give him at least the opportunity.
I just did not care.
So because, Estrada had pitched on Friday and then Suarez had pitched on Friday, and then Shildt uses both of them again on Saturday in what is another, fairly close game. But the Padres do end up taking that 7-3 lead. You had Wandy Peralta get 1 out, I think, in the 8th. 3 pitches.
And he had thrown
he had thrown the day before, but you could have left him in the 9th inning with the 4-run lead and tried to save Robert Suarez for potential use on Sunday. He didn't. We both said earlier, didn't have a huge problem with that. You want to make sure you win the series. You feel good about Suarez, clean inning, and he got the outs that he needed. The Padres got 4 shutout innings from their bullpen on Saturday. And by the way, again, Randy Vasquez on late notice. He did not arrive until about 1 a.m., they said, at the team hotel early Saturday morning to replace Joe Musgrove, who was going on the injured list. Yeah, he gave up 3 runs, but he gave him 5 innings, only gave up 4 hits, struck out 6.
He did a fantastic
really
job.
Solid performance.
Fantastic work from him and buckling down after giving up early runs, too. Nice game from Toddy that day, 3 for 4 with a bomb and RBI.
Looks like June is starting to hit for Fernando Tatis Jr., perhaps.
You said this a few weeks ago on the air, and I don't know why. I've never even thought about it. You're like, God, May is such a long month. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I never thought about that. It wouldn't end. It would not end. And you see there, Kyle Schwarber's another one. He's a June guy. And I think he went deep his first game in June as well. There's something about it when you get out of May. May felt like it was 60 days long. It really did. And of course, Tatis, is looking good, heating up right now in June. So hopefully keep that rolling. But
and probably Ha-Sung Kim's best game of the season,
no doubt, on
Saturday with the bases clearing double, the triple, scored a run, made a couple of really nice defensive plays at short as well.
Yeah, Randy was great. Morejon was great. But yeah, I really don't fault Mike Shildt there either, guys. And I know a lot of people do. But I think if you have a chance to win that game, you got Cole Reagans on the bump on a Sunday, a lefty. You haven't fared that well against lefties this year. They're scrounging to salvage a game too. I'm really have no problem with Suarez throwing that game at all. And I don't. I need Yuki Matsui to execute yesterday and get that win. That's really all I needed from them, and that's what they expected. And they pay him a tremendous amount of money to do so. And he just was not competitive yesterday at all.
So they did win their 8th series out of their last 10.
Yep. You might hear that this week.
They climbed another game above 500. They're now 2 games. They had a chance to get to 4 games above 500. Yep. It's such a big difference, though.
It really
is.
The
sweep versus the winning 2 out of 3. Because it's not 1 game. It's really 2 games in the standings. That win-loss is big.
It's just like rolling in a birdie. A birdie, I'm 1 under. No. You're normally double bogey. So you're like, that shot is worth 4 strokes in golf. And that's how you feel when you blow a game in the 9th inning of a game you had a chance to sweep the series.
The Padres are in the 2nd wild card spot, 2nd place in the National League West at 32-30, a game and a half ahead of the Cardinals and 2 games ahead of the Giants, who got swept by the Yankees over the weekend. So, as we sit here on June 3rd, the Padres are in a good spot. They're where we would hope they would have been at this point. But we also can acknowledge that they missed some opportunities where they could have been even better. They could have been in a more comfortable spot. They could have been competing with the Atlanta Braves for the first wild card instead of being 3.5 games behind the Braves at this point for the first wild card. So, a lot of good here through the first 2+ months of the season. More good than bad, but now that you're facing some pitching injuries with Musgrove and Darvish, you wonder, can you make hay in the schedule as it starts to get a little bit easier? I think the next 13 games are all against teams below 500 for the Padres, but can you actually make some inroads against teams like that, or are you just going for another series win?
Quickly, what's the position player rule again? 11-3 game.
You have to be either down by 8 or up by 10 in the 9th inning.
Okay, so we couldn't have used Jake.
No.
Right. All right.
That was not an option. They were only up by 8. All right, we'll come back. 2 hours to go. Sammy Levitt's going to join us in our 8 o'clock hour. of Ben and Woods as well. Don't go away. More on the way on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And so fantastic and fabulous to be with all of you listening. However you choose to consume this show and all the other shows on the station as well, we really appreciate it. I'm Woodsy. That's I was just going to say that's Paul Reindl. That's not Paul Reindl. That's Bald Reindl over there. Adam Klug, our boss. Do you get mad when people make fun of you for being bald?
Are you bald, or do
I'm
you
not
choose
bald.
to be bald? Because there's hair.
I shave
there.
my head.
He just
You're
shaves his
bald.
head. He has a bit of male pattern baldness.
I don't mind people
here,
making fun of me
but-
or anything. I got plenty of confidence. It's all
but,
good.
like, if you grew your hair out, you probably wouldn't look bald.
If I grew my hair out,
We've
you might
seen
be
it.
able to imagine what that would look like.
Bald Reindl is my new favorite bit of all time, by the way. We have Italian Paul.
He'll be in tomorrow.
He'll be in
I believe,
tomorrow.
right?
It's Frank Marchese. He texted me, Adam, a couple of weeks ago. Did you know this? Hold on. Ben Higgins is also
Hi.
here. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're not bald. Your hair
The
looks
other guy
great.
whose name is on the show.
Right. Italian Paul, Frank Marchese, who I love and adore, texted me a couple weeks ago. He goes, all right, man, this was weird. I just got stopped at Petco Park, and somebody said hello to me as Italian Paul. And it kind of made me happy for a minute, and then it kind of broke my heart. Because he's Frank Marchese. He's not Italian Paul. It's just a little fun nickname we've created, but now he kind of rolls with it. So I'm like, I've kind of blown it for this guy. He
I
wants to be known as
wondered.
Frank from the station,
'Cause
not
there-
Italian Paul.
There's been a number of radio people who were saddled kind of with nicknames by their hosts that just stuck forever. And weren't their names, but that's what they had to be known as for the rest of their lives. We had
Baba Booey doesn't go by Gary.
He goes by Baba Booey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
We had when I started back in the old Mighty 690 days, we had a great update anchor, Karen Kay. But then they started in the morning calling her Shoshana Shashevsky, and then she became known as Shoshana Shashevsky.
Why did they do that?
I think it was just kind of a funny bit.
Like a bit?
Yeah.
Huh. It's like Hacksaw.
Yeah, like Hacksaw. I think he saddled himself with that name. but-
Saddling oneself with a nickname is weird.
Kendry Morales with a home run. Vladimir Guerrero had key hits along the way.
Never gets old.
And the Angels batting order. Angels batting order
You got
just,
it.
excuse me,
Just fight through it.
wore out
Right.
the
Get a drink
Red
of water.
Sox pitching staff.
Take a sip. You don't need to fight through that.
See the Angels batting order tonight.
Yeah, we will see the Angels batting order tonight. Adam, did you ever have a nickname? Klug? Kluger? I call you Kluger.
A lot of people call me Kluger. And early in radio, there was AK-47, but
I don't think that's appropriate anymore.
Agreed.
Right? AK-47. He loved that one. Does that sounds like one he made up for himself?
Definitely not.
It sounds like that you did. But Bald Reindl is the new, when Adam is in, Bald Reindl is the new, that's what we're going to call you from now on.
Caitlin says I have an egg-shaped head. Thank you, Caitlin.
Yep, I do too. My wife says I look like a thumb.
Isn't that
which
what
is
a
my
normal
favorite.
a normal head is? Somewhat egg shaped. That's not a weird shape for a head.
People with square heads.
I
kind
have a
of
square-ish head.
square-ish. Yeah, the top
Yeah.
is a little bit square.
Yeah.
Today is National Simp Day, so I wanted to
Simp.
wish all of the Ben and Woods
by the way,
simps out there. I simp for you.
Machine Gun Klug, MGK.
MGK, Machine Gun Klug. Again, I'm going to pass on that one these days, Adam. Bald Reindl, though, is going to stick. It really is. So National Simp Day, Ben.
Like a simpleton? Like
No,
someone
you know
who's
what
not
simp
that
is.
smart? I don't then. I
It's,
thought it was short for like simpleton.
So I simp for Manny Machado. And I'll wear that.
Well, I thought you stand for him.
I do that too. It's excessive sympathy and attention toward another person, typically someone who does not reciprocate the same feelings in pursuit of affection or a sexual relationship. Let me clarify. I do not. I am not asking Manny Machado for an affectionate or sexual relationship. I just appreciate the guy's game. That's it.
I totally was wrong about what simp meant.
Right.
I thought it was just meant for people who are very. I'm kind of a simp.
There are things that you're
easy to please,
simpleton
just very-
about.
yeah. A little bit naive about things. I just thought I was a simp.
Simpleton sounds so mean, though. Like if somebody calls you a simpleton, you're like,
Forrest Gump was
yeah,
a simpleton.
bit of a simpleton.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is. Caitlin says she's a simp for Jake Cronenworth. Never met one of those myself, Caitlin. But yes, Ben did just say he is a simp. Yeah, Andres says Woodsy looks like the thumb characters from Spy Kids. My wife calls me a thumb, and it's the most cutting and insulting. She says, "You look like a thumb." Yeah.
It's like you're shaped like a thumb.
Yes, look. It works, doesn't it? It really stings when she says it too, and she says it in such a cutting manner, but gets a laugh every time. Happy Simp Day.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. All right, we already broke the news of Adam Mazur. Yeah. Is it Mazur or Mazur?
I guess we'll find out.
Yes, we will
when he shows up, and he can really educate us on the pronunciation of his last name. I'm going with Adam Mazur.
Mazur
for now, but
I'm going to go with Mazur.
Mazur.
Yeah. So here's what I got. I've got some inside scoop here. Mazur is fun, sits around 95 with the four-seamer. Big thing this year as compared to last. Fastball went up a few ticks, got a much better change, and uses a curve too. At El Paso, obviously the ball really doesn't move, so pretty much fastball and slider guy there. Home runs that he gave up in AAA, 4. 2 were in Vegas, where you and I are a threat to go deep, meaning me and you.
Yeah.
So
well, we've seen plenty of pitchers who have had ERAs in the 6s and 7s at AAA, El Paso, come up and then pitch pretty well for the Padres.
Absolutely.
That's not. You can't look at the ERA in the Pacific Coast League and say, well, that guy clearly can't get it done in the big leagues. It's different. You got a better defense behind you. Petco Park is nothing like pitching in some of the ballparks in the high altitudes and thin air of the Pacific Coast League. Randy Vasquez went down, and he had a bad ERA in AAA, and he came up and gave the Padres some quality innings on Saturday. So, hopefully the same will happen for Adam Mazur when he comes up tomorrow to pitch against the Los Angeles Angels.
Now, you just said Mazur.
Mazur.
You said Mazur, and
Mazur.
I said Mazur.
Mazur. You said Mazur.
I said Mazur, and you just did too.
I was trying to just walk the line between both. So
Adam
Mazur. Adam Mazur.
Well, I'm excited to see him. I mean, look, we're going to need. This is going to be. We say this all the time. It's actually dumb to say. This is going to be a really interesting stretch for our San Diego Padres. Some beatable teams on the schedule.
I just watched some highlights on YouTube of Adam Mazur, and it sounded like the announcer said Mazur.
Mazur. That's how my grandmother from Texas says measure. Just so you know, measure it. Okay, I will. Wash that. All right, I'll wash it and measure it. So Adam Mazur. We're sure about this?
No.
Okay.
Best guess at this point.
Okay, cool.
And usually rookies aren't all that insistent on name pronunciation at the beginning. Like, remember the old punter for the San Diego Chargers, Mike Cyphers, who was known as Mike Cyphers for the first 9 years of his career until he finally said, hey, guys, I'm not Mike Cyphers. I'm Mike Cyphers. And so you sometimes don't get the correct pronunciation right away on players' names. If they're not sticklers about it, they can let that run for a little bit. So, that just because it's Mazur today doesn't necessarily mean it won't be Mazur in 6 months.
Fair enough.
From now. By the way, Padres do face another tough lefty today. I mean, it sounds a little bit like a broken record, but after Cole Reagan's yesterday, Tyler Anderson's going to be the lefty on the mound tonight, and he has been really good for the Angels this year. For a bad team, he's got a 2.47 ERA and 5 wins. He also has 5 losses, but not getting a ton of offensive help from that team. So they will open this series once again against the kind of pitcher that has given them the most trouble this year. And while they did win 2 of the 3 against the Marlins with all lefties on the mound, they once again struggled yesterday against Reagan's. Now, he was nasty. I'm not saying that was a surprise or that Reagan's hasn't done that to other teams, but the Padres have had trouble getting it going against left-handed starting pitching, and I do imagine this game will be a little dicey depending on, if they can keep that offense going that we saw a lot of good things from over the weekend, but they're once again going up against their kryptonite tonight in a strong left-handed pitcher in Tyler Anderson.
Yeah, but they're on the road, so where they like to eat. They like to eat away from Petco Park. Best the numbers I saw over the weekend, Benny, I'm pretty sure they still are true. There was a graphic that they showed, I think, on the broadcast. I mean, we are first in every single category on the road this year. Number 1. Best, most this, most that, best batting average, best. I mean, it is insane how good this team has been away from Petco Park. And, look, we said the same thing last week. You just hope that holds true. As long as they're on the road, just continue being dominant on the road. And again, we all know kind of what the goal is of these next 3 games. What would you say the goal would be? Knowing the San Diego Padres this year, our skipper Mike Shildt, what the goal
winning
would
the series
be.
is probably the goal.
Yes. I'm not going to alibi it if they don't. Sweep. But I think you have to win this series.
Is this going to make you nervous? Padres have the best home record or the best road record in the National League at 19-11. The Angels have the worst home record in baseball at 7-21. Wow. I mean, this is the perfect setup for the San Diego Padres.
It's like our World Series right now. I mean, this is like you have to win this. You have to dominate these guys.
Yeah, the Angels are actually 14-17 on the road. It's
not bad.
That's fine. There's good teams that play a couple of games under 500 on the road. They've been terrible at home this year. Really awful. And obviously, they don't have Mike Trout. Ohtani's gone. So there's no longer the main threats in the offense that they don't have. And that's been huge for them.
Paul Dreindl is looking at me. What?
When I was in here with you guys the other day and I ate a couple of the jelly beans, right? And someone asked me, what would it take to eat a handful of jelly beans?
Sweep.
If the Padres sweep the Angels,
you will do it. I'm not doing it again.
I will eat a handful of the jelly beans.
Thank you.
Deal.
Yeah,
There's
nothing that's going to make me say that.
No, it was one of the worst experiences of my life. But yeah, we will definitely do that. Yeah, these guys are mashing on the road, man. Mashing on the road. Mike just said, has anyone seen we're leading the league in batting average? Yeah, I mean they're hitting the ball well. They're not slugging a ton, but they're continuing to win series, and as we know, that's what we like.
Now I don't know if the bullpen is ready to go. I mean, Suarez and Estrada and Wandy all had the day off yesterday. Are they good to go 2 in a row if they needed them the next 2 days? Or is Mike Shildt going to have to continue to be a bit careful with his bullpen usage over the next 3 days, depending on...
Mike Shildt's going to have to be careful with his bullpen usage for the next... for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But especially now with Joe being out and you being hurt as well. I mean, look, if there was ever a time to work the phones, and I'm sure he is, try to get another starting pitcher, this would be the time to do it. Because do either of us expect both of those guys to come back and be ready to go for the rest of the year? No, I don't. I really don't. I wish I could say that I believe that they would. We need it. But at some point, man, you're going to have to find another starter, maybe 2.
I am glad for one thing. We just talked about Mike Trout and how his career, I don't want to say wasted, but
not wasted.
Obviously, he has never really gotten to play massively on the postseason stage at the end of the year. In hockey last night, Connor McDavid is kind of sort of been a bit of the Mike Trout of the NHL. No one gets to see him play up in Edmonton, but they're going to the Stanley Cup Finals, so he's going to get a chance to really be on the national stage. Unlike Mike Trout, has never gotten that opportunity. He's going to get that opportunity. And, they advanced. The Florida Panthers advanced over the weekend. I'm such a casual hockey fan. I am like what sometimes people are for college basketball, where they don't start watching until the NCAA tournament, or if there's baseball fans who don't watch until the playoffs.
Sure.
I will really watch almost no regular season hockey. Once the playoffs start, I'll kind of flip in for a half a period here or there on some of the games, especially if there's a Game 7. And then once the Stanley Cup Finals are on, I'll pretty much turn those games on.
Yeah.
Now, this series, Florida, Edmonton, is not exactly a TV network executive's dream. It's a Fort Lauderdale suburban Florida team against a team in the furthest nether reaches of Canada. It's also a terrible series for the travel between the two teams. I saw this is the championship series with the most distance ever.
You're joking.
The opponents. The tip of Florida all the way up into somewhere in Alberta, Canada, that they're going to have to go back and forth for the games in the Stanley Cup Finals. So it's not exactly the ideal matchup, but you do have 2 good teams, and you do have a superstar in Connor McDavid that hopefully will draw some attention and eyeballs for the Stanley Cup Finals, which will begin on Saturday.
Now, there was an Edmonton fan that drew my attention and my eyeballs. Did you see her?
I did see that, yes.
Go Oilers. I mean, how could after my beloved Stars were knocked out, I mean, you have to root for them now. Also considering moving to Edmonton.
If you didn't see it, she flashed.
She did.
The crowd at the Edmonton game.
Solid. As solid as solid could be.
Doesn't take much to sway Woods.
It does not.
Team.
No. It does not. It does not.
Honestly, Woods might become a Dodger fan if enough Dodgers fans did flashing at the games, I think.
Can't do it. Can't do it. It's the fan base.
All right, let's take a quick timeout. If you want to join us and talk some Padres baseball, you can. 833-288-0973. Also, this surprised me, but Woods apparently made a new friend during our show last Friday, and I want to give a little update on where that stands. Is that fair?
I don't know what you're talking
about. All right, well, you'll find out when we come back with the rest of us after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. To Robert Suarez, who was just named the National League Reliever of the Month for that very long month of May. 7 saves, 7 opportunities, 0.73 ERA, 0.57 whip. Think about that. That's just over half a base runner per inning. It's hard to put together a rally against Robert Suarez when he's only giving up half a base runner per inning. 136 opponent average. Suarez is certainly a contender for the All-Star game for the San Diego Padres. Emmanuel Clase won the award in the American League. You would expect to see Robert Suarez at the All-Star game in Arlington, Texas. I don't care. This summer, you don't care. This hour on Ben and Woods is brought to you by the Farmer's Dog, fresh human-grade dog food from a healthier way to more energy. When you switch your dog's food to the Farmer's Dog, the effects can feel magical. What sorcery is this? None at all. It's just real food made for the health of dogs. Get 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/radio. So I said before the break, Woods made a new friend on Friday, and he gave me this blank look like you didn't understand what I was talking about. But you told me when you came in this morning that you watched a ton of the USD baseball game. We were actually texting with Brock Ungrich about his son, who was, you found out, same age, 1 year younger than Bo.
His name's Ben.
And you want to get them together to, practice baseball a little bit. Unfortunately, his season came to an end this weekend. Really exciting and good game. So we talked to him on Friday, right before they were about to play Oregon in the first round of the NCAA tournament. And that game went to extra innings, had a big home run to tie it, got to the 11th. Oregon scored, and they had a chance but could not bring home the winning runs. And the Toreros fell into the losers bracket. It's so hard to come back from that because then you have to win, I think, 4 in a row to get through the regional at that point, or 5 in a row. They did win on Saturday against Fresno State in the elimination game to advance to Sunday. But yesterday, gave up a couple of early 2-run home runs. Jacob Christian, their star, got one back to 4-2, but they were never able to get all the way back, and they lost to UC Santa Barbara, the host, 4-2, ending their season. And UCSB will play Oregon now in the championship. UCSB will have to win twice. Oregon needs to win once. Did they play? They actually played last night. I don't even know who won last night.
I don't know. I
actually.
just watched USD and then I was done.
You were done. That's fine.
He's a really good dude, man. And this was interesting because this kind of came up over the weekend. I was texting with him, and he said, "Thanks for asking the question today about our youth." He said, "It's a huge deal to me with crazy coaches and young kids. This game is so hard. It kills me to see kids get burned out and quit because of their experience. I'm all about supporting this game and our kids for the right reasons. I know you're about that as well. Want to make sure we can help promote our game with the kids in a positive way."
That's cool.
Phenomenal. But I got a phone call over the weekend from a dear friend. I'll keep his name private. And he was talking to me about his son, who's 7. And he called me because I need to vent. And I said, "Fire away, man. I'm here for you." So he called me and was talking about the league that they play in and how competitive it is. And again, he's 7 years old. Didn't make the all-star team, probably should have, but they send the older kids. And so he went out to watch the tournament. He's got a couple of buddies with kids in there. So he went out to watch a tourney. Said there was an opposing coach there without his kid, scouting, an 8U game. Scouting. Had his notebook, his chair, and he was scouting 8U baseball. And I go, I don't know that I'm cut out for this.
Like looking for weaknesses that his team can attack when
8U. They're 8. And I thought to myself,
are the tier 1? Are you scouting opponents?
No. Come on.
All right.
I thought to myself, I'm in for it, man, because Bo's now done with T-ball. And we start, his assessment with frozen ropes is on Wednesday. I'm a wreck about it. And once we start getting into, it's all dependent on what he wants to do, not what I want for him and not what Hannah does. But if, how hard it's going to be for me to be coaching or watching, and there's another dad like that's like that hardcore about 8-year-olds. Now, I'm pretty stern with my T-ballers, but it's mostly like, hey, pay attention so you don't get smoked in the face. That's what it's about. Hey, when your coach is talking, eyes up here. Normal stuff.
Yeah.
Not how you rounded the bag at third. Not how if you boot one. It's about being a good teammate. It's about learning how to play as a team.
Lessons.
Life lessons. Not baseball lessons. And when I heard that from my buddy, I go, bro, I don't know if I can handle this. That's just me being as honest as I can be. I don't know if I can handle. What am I going to do when I see some dad chewing out a 14-year-old umpire over a game when Bo's playing and he's 8 years old? Also, don't be that dad. That's what I'm also telling myself. But there's no reason, there's no excuse you could give me. None that makes that okay. Scouting an 8U game. There's nothing you can tell me that's going to change my mind. Nothing.
My son is 7.
Mm-hmm.
He plays in a league 7 to 9, and I'm one of the assistant coaches. And we found out about a week or two ago that there's been tons of cheating in this league.
How?
Coaches are switching up the batting order in the middle of the game, meaning like I'm using fake, like assume Machado hits, 3 batters later they're putting their Machado back in. So they're letting their kids, they're moving around, so they're getting multiple at bats. There's a rule where you have to play, each kid has to play in the infield at least 2 innings.
Sure.
So you can't just stick the worst kids out in the outfield. They're not rotating their players. We found out that one team was letting their pitchers wear sunglasses so that it would reflect off the sun and affect the batters. And there are rules in the
7.
They are 7 to 9. There's rules in the rule book that the pitchers can't wear sunglasses. And it's intentional to the point that when the inning ends, they were going into the dugout, taking the sunglasses off and handing them to the next pitcher. And the pitcher was wearing long sleeves,
Can't wear white.
which is against the rules because you
can't.
can't pick up the ball.
Yeah.
And the pitchers were doing that, and they're getting called out on it. Then in the championship, the semifinals, one of the teams was arguing about the score, saying that they thought it was tied when they were really down 1. They're contesting the outcome of the game. We played by the rules the whole year, and we found out about this. We found out that right before the season started, after the evaluations and the draft, one of the my head coach, drafted a kid, and another coach goes, "Oh, you know what? He's a family friend. He's been on the teams forever. Do you mind if you just let me have him?" And my head coach goes, "Okay, sure." And he gave him the kid. That manager then turned around and traded that kid to another team. They're trading kids to other teams.
Parents of little kids that play sports, we have lost the plot here. I could do an hour and a half on this, and maybe we will at some point. Scouting an 8U game, cheating, and not mixing up the lineup, wearing sunglasses and white sleeves to get an edge in 8U, you should be embarrassed.
Absolutely.
You should be embarrassed. And I will die
The problem
on that
is,
hill.
the problem is that while everyone we talk to and will say, it really is best, have your kids play multiple sports, make sure they're having fun, don't put extra pressure on them. That's always the advice we get from people who have made it even to the big leagues. But unfortunately, the kids who get ahead tend to be the ones who get to play the travel ball and are taking it more seriously. And the ones that get left behind then don't get the same opportunities as those ones that have the crazy parents who are doing all this stuff. So ultimately, they're being rewarded for their kind of insane behavior. And that's what has to kind of stop.
You know, and people have made the joke. As soon as I had a son, people made the joke about me like, "Oh, man, you're going to be the dad that, like, throws something onto the field and has to go watch the game from the minivan." I won't. I would potentially be the dad that gets in a fist fight with another dad that's being an absolute DB. 100% about things like this. It happened to me when I coached Little League my very first time. This guy was stealing my catcher signs, and it wasn't even slick. He was going, "Fastball, curveball," and after the game, I got in this guy's face. Parents, I'm just going to tell you this again. Think about it. Think about what you love so much about your kids playing sports. Try to keep the plot. We have lost it. We've lost it. It's gone. And I, as a dad and a coach, I don't know what to do. Do I turn him over, or do I just try to create a team full of good, hardworking kids and just not be a jerk? Then, like, try to change the narrative by doing it the right way that I see it.
So there's another wrinkle to this story. The manager who caught the other teams cheating in a playoff game and called them out to the umpires, blah, 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 blah. A parent of one of the kids on the team that was cheating walked around to the opposing dugout to the manager who called them out, said, you better be careful walking to your car after this.
You are effing kidding me.
Physical threats of violence.
We've lost the plot, man. We have lost the plot. And we need to find it. And I don't know how you do it, but we have to. It's a business. Now, my buddy said he went to this tournament. He said, Woodsy, I'm not kidding you when I tell you there were 800 people at this tournament. These kids had 3 games in one day. 3. That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. If you're running a league and you're listening, do better. Do better.
Terrible. We need to take your time out. Sammy Levitt is going to join us in season. Sammy talk some Padres baseball on the other side, but an interesting topic that I think we can definitely stretch out a little bit at some point.
We're about to have years of content when I start. When this all starts up, dude.
We'll be right back with Sam next with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Sam Levitt was on a wild ride this weekend with the Padres series in Kansas City. We will revisit that with in-season Sammy, who's going to join us right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by California Coast Credit Union. Well, looks like things are starting to wind down on our roadways. Now, Cordell traffic cam shows lots slowing on eastbound 78 toward this accident past Nordall Road. It's been cleared over the right shoulder. Get 9.5% APY rate on a 5-month certificate for a limited time at Cal Coast Credit Union as we celebrate 95 years in the community. $500 minimum balance. Restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA. Visit calcoastcu.org/celebrate. And Kelly Danick with Ben Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Now, we heard earlier, I saw that Matt Scraby was doing the postgame show on Saturday, and Adam told us that Sammy went to a wedding on Saturday. So let me ask you, as we welcome Sam Levitt, our Padres pre- and postgame show host, on to Ben Woods. Was it a good wedding, Sam?
It was a beautiful wedding in La Jolla, and it was right on the water. So it was very, very pretty wedding, very well done, a lot of fun. And thank you to Adam and Scraby for letting me get out for a late afternoon, early evening, and going to a nice affair on a Saturday night here in America's finest city. So I had fun. It was really, really nice, a beautiful wedding.
Are you guys over weddings? I'm good if I'd never go to another one. I've had enough, I think.
You know, it's funny. You would think I've been to more weddings because I'm right at that age where a lot of people are getting married. But I have not. I have a lot coming up this year, late this summer. I've got one that I've got to figure out, and then into the fall. But I've missed a lot. I mean, honestly, I used to miss like every wedding during baseball season and would religiously not take games off, which I think I've realized a few years later is kind of silly.
Yeah.
To miss every event and every wedding, and if it's a really, 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 really good friend or obviously a family member, I think I'm learning as I go that you got to try your best to make those things. So I'm getting there though. Like this next stretch through the end of the year, I think is the busiest wedding season I've ever had. So I'm looking forward to it. I like a wedding. Weddings are fun.
I'm over it, Sammy.
Food, dancing.
I'm old though.
Well, I don't know. Sammy never reveals his age, but I think he's more in that wedding-going age.
Yes.
Kind of the late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
You go to a lot of them, and we did. And then it kind of dies out a little bit as you get into your 40s, and either your friends are already married, or
they're
not
getting their third
or they're not getting married, and they're not inviting you. But I will admit, I feel bad. I declined, actually, a wedding in a couple of weeks. My cousin is getting married in Northern California, but it's on a Sunday night, which means I wouldn't be able to do the show on Monday or anything.
I'll give you money.
I said no.
I'll just give you money. I'll just give you money. I'll just give you like lots of money so that I don't have to go, which is what you want.
But I have a question though. Yeah. I have a real honest question for Woods in particular.
Yes.
So you're telling me that even now you wouldn't enjoy getting out of the house, maybe leaving the kids at home, taking your wife to a nice event, having a good time? That wouldn't appeal to you?
No, not even a little. I don't. No, I'm a curmudgeon. I'm a homebody, and I like to be at my house with my kids and my wife. And I don't really like to leave for
it's
lot.
a pre-planned event. So, you show up one place, you got dinner, you got dancing and entertainment, and everything's right there.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to go to a wedding.
Let's give you money.
All right.
I'll give you like $500 if I don't have to come. That's good. You take that. You don't need me there.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't need me there.
No, we don't need you
I don't
there.
dance.
We don't need
I don't
you
do
there.
bits out there. I just like to be at home watching baseball.
I mean, you've performed some weddings.
I have. Yeah. Don't ask me anymore.
All right, Sammy, let's get to some Padres baseball here. Obviously, Mike Shildt is going to say that was another series victory against a good winning baseball team that is currently 11 games over 500 on the road. And, he's right. And yet we continue to be left kind of with this slightly sour taste in our mouths at the end of every Padres victorious series. It's almost weird at this point that we kind of in the same spot. Like, yeah, they're doing exactly what they need to do, but why don't I feel better about it every time?
Yeah, I think two things can be true at once, right? I mean, you zoom out, and let's live in a world where they would have won yesterday's game. They would have been 19-11 in the span of 30 games. So when you consider that, and they're 18-12 in that same span after yesterday, but when you zoom out a little bit, it really struck me when I was looking at things pregame yesterday, and I said to myself, wow, I mean, there is some truth, and more than some, but a lot of truth to, hey, they have won 8 out of 10 series, and you look at a span of 30 games if they won yesterday, and it would have been 19-11 in a span of 30, and you're like, that's a good baseball team. That's a baseball team playing really, really well, even if it doesn't feel like they've quote unquote taken off. But with that said, they didn't win yesterday, and you felt like there was a missed opportunity on Wednesday against the Marlins with Yu Darvish on the mound, a real opportunity to, kind of put your foot down and sweep a series from a team that you feel like you should be able to sweep against. So I think both things are true. I think this team continues to win series, which is great. They continue to play, for the most part, a pretty good brand of baseball. They continue to slowly, get a little bit more above 500. But again, you look at it yesterday, and hey, you could have ended that series 4 games over instead of heading to Anaheim, 2 games over. And it does feel, even though the games on Wednesday and Sunday were really, really different, yeah, I mean, it feels like we're still in that 2 steps forward, 1 step back, so on and so on kind of thing that quite frankly, we've kind of felt with this team for the last year plus now. So I really think they still need to find ways to really put their foot down in some of these series. Look, again, the 2 games are very different during the series this week, but it's still that, even if, Mike Shildt doesn't love the word, it does still feel like kind of that roller coaster, right? Because there's the ups and downs of every series rather than feeling like they've really started to quote-unquote take off.
Man, I don't know about you guys. I mean, games like yesterday, they're tough to drop. But games like last week against the Marlins, those are
Sure.
I can't stomach those. I mean, the Royals are trying their ass off to salvage a game, right? They're trying so hard to salvage a game. They know that you're weak in your bullpen because of the last 2 nights. They saw an opportunity. They took it. The game against the Marlins, you just shouldn't have even come to the ballpark. Like, those are the games that I can't stomach. I can handle yesterday. It sucks, but that was a good-ass baseball game between 2 good baseball teams. Like,
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. The uncompetitive games are the ones that murder me, Sammy. And, the other thing that's been a bugaboo for this team is playing down to some inferior competition. Please don't forget, the Royals are a really good team, and they're an elite team at home. And so now, when you look at the schedule, you go, oh, boy. You got 3 against the Angels, you got 4 against the D-backs, and then 3 against the A's. And then the Mets.
Yeah.
And so, like,
right.
This is where I hate making hay. I hate saying making hay, but this is where you have to charge ahead, surge ahead.
Making hay isn't even that fun.
It's
what
not
do you
fun.
do? It's
time to make love.
Makes you sneeze.
Let's make
something better than hay.
Yes, let's make love. The next 1, 2, 3, 7, 10, 13 games. Get nasty these next 13 games. Show up. Don't roll over. Don't play down to inferior opponents. And, many will say, well, how do you say they're inferior? You're 2 games above 500. I'm sorry. If you've watched this team all year, you know that the ceiling is higher. And this is how you move up.
Yeah, I think the very glass half full way of looking at the first 62 games is that you're sitting 2 games above 500 when you've had to deal with 2, I think, pretty difficult things. Number 1, the schedule.
Yep.
And number 2, the fact that your big guys, really aside from Fernando lately, have not produced near the level that you would expect them to produce. And you've dealt with some pitching injuries. You've dealt with Joe Musgrove being unavailable for an amount of time. You've dealt with the ups and downs of the rotation. You've dealt with some of the ups and downs of the bullpen. And it does feel like they've been able to very much in an overall sense tread water. So
I was just
I'm
going to
with
say
you,
that.
Woodsy.
Yeah, tread water.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm with you, Woodsy. I think you look at certainly the series against the Angels. I mean, the Diamondbacks, I think, are better than what their record has shown so far, but you got 4 against them. Then you said it, Oakland, and the Mets coming to town. So you look at the next 2 weeks, and there does appear to be an opportunity there to really pick up some steam. But, the big question is, can this team do that? Because we've seen them struggle with teams that you feel like they should beat before, and obviously some of the struggles at home. But look, I think in an overall sense, when you look at the last month, you consider, some of the things they've gone through in the first 62 games. It certainly feels like they've been able to very much tread water. They're right in the mix when you talk about, and I know we're way early for this still, but when you talk about postseason position, but it does feel like right now is a time where you got to go rattle off some wins. So we'll see if they can do it.
Talking to Sam Levitt here on Ben and Woods, and Sammy, I've got a question for you, and actually probably for Woods and Adam, and maybe even the roundtable later this week. But I start with an admission. I cheated on you yesterday, Sammy. I was driving back from the desert, and we were in the mountains, so I had no internet access to stream your pregame show, but I did have my satellite radio on, and they were only broadcasting the Kansas City Royals pregame show. So I'm listening, and their pregame host is doing an interview with the Royals GM. AJ Piccolo is his name. And they talked about how good the Padres are. Like, hey, this is a really good team that came in here. And he said they have an aura about them. This is a Padres team with guys who have won before, with players with some swag that come in, and they're just a really good team. So my question to you, Sammy, do you buy what AJ Piccolo was selling, that the Padres are a team that other teams look and go, that team has that aura about them, that they're a special team? Would you agree with that?
Well, I think the potential for that, for that special team has always been there, right? I mean, look, I think individually there's a lot of aura, and that's a word that the kids love to use, right? When you talk about sort of the quiet confidence of somebody like Manny or the swag of a Fernando Tatis Jr., and there are other guys you can point to as well. I can certainly see where when the Padres come to town, you look at their roster, you look at what some of these guys have accomplished, you think about the flair that some of these guys can play with. I do understand that. Look, obviously the overall results on the field when you go back to last year have not been what people wanted, but I do understand when the Padres come to town, they're feeling like there's an aura around this group because of I think the flair they can play with, and quite frankly the way they've played on the road, and some of the personalities on this team, guys like Manny and Fernando and Ha-Sung Kim, guys that I do think have a lot of swag and carry themselves that way, whether you want to use the word aura or swag or what have you. So I do understand that perspective when the Padres come to town, yes.
Sammy, I appreciate it. Back to work tonight. Got a 5:38 Eco Water SoCal pregame show. Very specific, weird 6:38 start times all next 3 days in Anaheim. We will hear from you then.
Yeah, sounds good, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks, buddy.
And, it is interesting. And, I would never say cheat on Sammy, but it's interesting to hear other teams' perspectives of your team. Because I would have never said, oh, yeah, the scary Padres are coming to town. But that's exactly how the Kansas City Royals, even though they had a better record than the Padres, they viewed the Padres coming in as this is a team, they've got some swag, they've got some aura. My son said, yes, that is a word that people use a lot. Kids nowadays use aura. He's got aura about him. Riz, aura.
Love the word Riz. I wish I used it more.
And that is how other teams look.
Perceive.
At perceive the San Diego Padres. I don't necessarily know that our fan base feels that way about our own team.
Our fan base hates our team. Are you kidding me? They hate them.
Mike Shildt would really be better off talking to other teams' fans. They all agree with Mike Shildt.
He should go on mornings in Kansas City. He'd be like, this is the most positive interview I've ever had.
So rest assured that even though we may not have that level of confidence, like Angels fans right now are going, oh no,
right?
Here comes San Diego Padres.
And we're all here vomiting in our hands because we don't want to lose to the Angels.
A little bit different. All right, we'll come back. He's reluctantly going to do a Clug Report.
Can't wait for
filling in for Paulie Reindl as we begin our final hour of Ben and Woods coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan. Who just joined us in our last segment. Again, he'll have our Eco Water SoCal pregame show at 5:38. Very specific today. Padres and Angels coming up. Sammy posting good stuff on Twitter this hour, too. So we know the Padres hit better on the road versus home by quite a wide margin. I didn't realize, though, their .295 batting average on the road is 31 points higher than the next highest team, the New York Mets, who hit .264 on the road, and then the Dodgers at .262. The Padres are in a completely different class in Major League Baseball when it comes to offense on the road. But then at home, they're hitting .224, near the absolute bottom of the barrel.
I could be wrong here. I need to go look it up. I hate just going off half-cocked on the radio, but I'm going to. Won't be my first time or last. The ball has actually been flying out of Petco Park.
More than anywhere else. It has the most home runs given up in baseball this year. More than like Coors Field, I think.
That's nauseating.
But they're all going for the other team.
Opposing team.
It doesn't make any sense. Now, if you have big home run, like you expect the Rockies to hit way better at home than the road, or you expect like the Tigers maybe to hit better on the road because Comerica Park is not a good hitter's ballpark, and the Padres usually fall under that category. Petco, especially early in the season, not a great hitter's park. The marine layer, the cooler weather, ball doesn't fly. You got a lot of warning track flyouts, so you probably hit better on the road early in the season. But that's not been the case this year. Petco Park has been a good hitter's park for other teams, just not the Padres. And then they go on the road, and it's completely flipped. It's totally different. It defies any logical explanation what the Padres are doing. It really does.
I'm honestly just sitting here shaking my head because I can't wrap my head around it. It just, Petco Park is jamming. You know, people are there, they're ready, they're loud, they're excited to be there. It's full, and just I don't know what it is. It's probably the tough San Diego media. They make it. They like getting away from us. Play better on the road because we're so tough.
You can throw out theories that match the facts. Padres played really well in 2020 in front of no one. Padres did not play well in 2023 in front of record crowds.
Yep.
Do they have a bunch of players who just feel like a lot of pressure to perform in front of their home fans, and they don't?
There's no way.
They can't do it, and then they take the pressure off by going somewhere else, and they play better? I mean, it fits the facts. It doesn't really make any sense.
No.
There's nothing about, Fernando Tatis Jr. that makes you think he doesn't thrive in front of a great, energetic audience.
Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., all
historically,
these guys.
they've always been fine at home. It's weird. It doesn't make any sense.
I hate it. I hate it. I like things to make sense, and that doesn't make sense at all. There's no good logical reasoning for it. And anyone that thinks that they have the answer, I can't call you wrong. All theories are open at this point. But I don't even really have a hypothesis for it. I don't. It doesn't make any sense.
Last year was the batter's eye.
Yes.
So they changed
that.
the
batter's eye.
Doesn't seem to be making any difference for the Padres.
Sure it does for the other team.
Go back to the old batter.
Look at this batter's
Bring back
eye.
all the fake ivy. At least maybe that was hurting the other teams as much as it was the Padres.
I swear to God, we should start a rally of wearing the other team's jerseys when we go to watch them and just root for the Padres, but wear, the Diamondbacks jersey and make them feel like they're playing at Chase Field or whatever. It just doesn't make sense.
All right, we will get back to Padres talk in a moment, but first, put him on the spot. It is time for Adam to fill in with today's Clug Report.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the
Clug
Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the
Clug
Report. Right. 2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed. It's the
Clug
Report on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
I always forget how funny that is.
That's my favorite.
I don't know why it's sped up.
Paulie did it.
Because it's funny.
Obviously.
Because it's Adam. Yeah.
What do you got, Adam?
Go ahead, bud.
Hi, guys.
Let's go. You're up.
It is good to be Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson.
Sure is.
On this beautiful day. Viking star receiver Justin Jefferson has agreed to a 4-year, $140 million contract extension with the Minnesota Vikings, $110 million guaranteed. He is the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history now.
Who's his quarterback
That's
again?
the question, isn't it?
Who's his quarterback?
That's the question, isn't it?
2 quarterbacks. They acquired in the offseason Sam Darnold from
they
the
drafted?
Niners to be the bridge quarterback to newly drafted J.J. McCarthy, who they took in the first round.
Okay.
I'm not surprised they had to give him a lot of money, because if I'm Justin Jefferson, I'm going, I don't know if either of these guys are any good. So if you want me to stay,
You better pay me.
you're going to have to pay me, because I'm not going to take the blame if these guys aren't any good. You had at least a quality, established guy in Kirk Cousins. Now you're going with a very much unknown in J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, he said 4 years, 140, but 110 guaranteed.
Correct.
Yeah. That's
A lot of speculation over the last 12 months or so about whether or not they would trade him, and whether or not they'd be able to sign him. He is signed.
I mean, but putting J.J. McCarthy around some good talent, kind of, the Brock Purdy mold, put him in a good situation. He was around a lot of talent at Michigan as well. He played well when he was surrounded. He may not be the most dynamic-looking quarterback, but I think the Vikings are gambling that if we put you in a good situation,
You don't think he's attractive?
you will make
He's an attractive guy.
you will make enough good decisions that we can win games right away. See if they're correct. I know Jim Harbaugh agrees with that.
Vikings play here on 97.3.
Oh, yeah. Big Vikings station.
It's huge.
You guys saw the controversy in the WNBA over the weekend with Caitlin Clark?
Holy smokes, you guys. What's the name of her team? It's the
they're the Fever.
Fever. Are they the San Diego Padres of the WNBA?
They were a really bad team last year. That's why they got the first pick.
The fact that they just let their superstar get thrown to the ground at every turn and just go,
she's taken a few shots already, I think, through 11 games now, but none worse than the one on Saturday night against the Chicago Sky, was it, Adam? And Kennedy Carter.
That's correct. So it was the Sky and the Fever, and it was in the third quarter after an inbounds play. Apparently, Caitlin Clark and Kennedy Carter had been yapping back and forth all game long. And here we go. We'll show it on the YouTube feed. In the third quarter, after a made bucket, the inbounds pass and got into a little kerfuffle.
She has been terrific. Mabry doubled off to Carter. Her jumper is good. Kennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench.
The hip check, man.
And Clark.
So it's completely unnecessary and uncalled for.
Correct.
You just made a basket. What you're supposed to do is run down the court and play defense. But instead, she goes the other way to deliver an unwarranted hip check on Caitlin Clark. And if you see the replays, you can see what she said.
What'd she say?
The B word.
What's the B word?
Bitch. Like she intended for it to send a message to Caitlin Clark.
She's being targeted by other players.
Yes. And
she's got a target on her back.
And there's a lot of speculation that a number of the players in the WNBA are jealous of the attention.
Even though there's way more eyes on their sport because
fame
of her.
And there's the counter argument is that you should be appreciative of what Caitlin Clark has just brought to you.
Yeah, I agree. Like you should
and your
definitely-
sport.
You should definitely play her tough. Like you should play everybody, but you can't cheap shot her for no reason.
So the play wasn't reviewed. It was called an away from the ball common foul, and then after the game, the WNBA ended up assessing a flagrant 1,
but not a suspension.
Correct. At least not yet.
And so
We'll
far,
see.
you haven't seen a lot of the teammates standing up for Caitlin Clark. Maybe they don't like her either. I don't know. Is she not likable on a personal level?
Does it remind you of,
I enjoy watching her play. She was, by the way, terrible. Last night they had to play again on the road against the Liberty. 3 points.
Ben never sticks up for me though, Adam, ever. So I feel like maybe I'm the Caitlin Clark, and you're the other people.
You would rather do this show with Tommy Pham
all day. Do you think anybody would ever run their mouth to me if Tommy Pham was my co-host? Anyone?
It's Pham and Woods.
I'm all in. I am all in. I would leave you for Tommy Pham. I would. Man, no, that was, and then Caitlin said after the game, yeah,
I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, I'm proud of myself.
I'm proud of myself.
That's not a basketball play. And it wasn't. It was not.
No.
And then the girl that hit her goes, I'm not answering any Caitlin Clark questions. It was like, look, I hate to say it. It's ultimately a really good thing.
Is it a Caitlin Clark question? We ask you, why did you go out of your way to hip check one of the players on the other team?
I'm not
Is that a
answering-
Caitlin Clark
I'm not
question?
answering any Caitlin Clark questions. I just told you. It gets people. I don't watch the NBA.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
This has got me more likely to tune in because it's kind of good. It's eyeballs, right? And I don't want it at her expense, obviously, but this is. It's got everybody in the nation.
But
talking about
what's the goal? Maybe, hey, if they're rough enough on her, maybe they can just take all of her confidence away and turn her into a not very good pro player. That's not going to be good for the league. I mean, they just got 3 points yesterday. She was 1 for 10 from the field. It's starting to take a toll. Now, she's played a ton of games, like 11 games in 3 weeks, back-to-back on the road. She's going to have some struggles as a rookie
of course,
in the league at some point. If she doesn't, though, eventually become the biggest star, like the MVP of the league, and people are going to go like, I guess there's no reason to watch anymore. So I don't know if you're making the best strategy of making a target of her so early in her career.
But if you're the other team, I mean, I understand, like, you play for the Shildt too, right? But you also, like, there's something to be said for, like, roughing up the new hot, person in the league. Like, there's playing them tough. And again, not cheap shots or anything like that, but, like, playing them tough, you want to shut her down. You want to. You want to shut her down every single time. But I think ultimately, people talking about the league.
Yeah, put your best defender on her.
Yeah,
make life tough on her. Go out of your way to
people sought out and took shots at Tim Tebow when he made it to the NFL. And then there was Tebow when they sacked him. And there's a lot of examples. I mean, a lot of people were mad at Tiger Woods, right? And look how much attention he brought to golf when he first got there.
There's an interview. Who's that interview with? He does an interview when he was like a rookie, Tiger Woods, it was with another player. And he asked him, like, do you think you'll be there and at the end of this tournament? And he's like, yeah, I think I'll win it. And he's like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just a kid. Everyone was gunning for that dude. Everyone. They hated him. They wanted
not
him.
the famous Fuzzy Zeller
no,
interview,
it wasn't,
right?
No, not that one. It was like, I can't remember. It was amazing though. But yeah, if you're getting all the pub, everyone's coming for you.
I may have just made the biggest mistake of my career.
By saying,
suggesting Pham and Woods. Everyone now wants to hear that.
Yeah.
Carlos says 97.3 the Pham.
Oh.
It's just as soon as he retires, Adam's going to hire him to replace me.
I will leave you at the altar for Pham and Woods. Oh my God, it would be so electric. So electric.
Can I have a place on the show? Maybe.
He would.
Pham and Woods featuring Ben.
Featuring Ben,
like
and then, but you'd be the one he would just pummel. Oh,
of course.
Like he would
You'd
murder.
love that, though.
Oh, I would love it. Make me look like the good guy. You got any more?
Yeah, we got a little PSA, some local news going on here. I assume you guys saw this, what happened at Del Mar Beach. Yes. There was a 46-year-old swimmer who suffered significant injuries, bitten by what they believe is a great white shark in the torso, the arm, and the hand. Group of swimmers who apparently meet. This is around 17th Street. They were swimming 100 yards off the shore, and they meet there every week. It was overcast weather.
Mm-hmm.
The water wasn't really clear.
A little murky.
Got bit by a great white shark. Significant injuries, but I don't believe lost any limbs. And just, again, the PSA part is there are closures that will stretch from 6th Street to North Beach, and they're going to be in effect all the way until tomorrow morning.
I never totally... it's done now. It bit somebody. You don't know that it stayed there. It could be in Coronado now. It could be anywhere.
There's a reason.
Doesn't necessarily just sit there in Del Mar. You can't see it under the water.
There's a reason they do it, though. I'm sure of it.
Eyewash.
No,
because you have to look like you're doing something, but you can't really. You don't know where the shark is.
Don't you think logic would tell you that that's now the safest beach because
it's moving on somewhere else, right? Don't they migrate up and down?
JJO in the chat says Tommy Pham already looking to fight the shark.
Yeah, sharks are terrified of Tommy Pham. Terrified.
I try not to think about it if I do go in the ocean.
When in the F do you go in the ocean?
I grew up here. I went in the ocean a lot.
When was
up.
the last time you set foot in the
Probably like
Pacific?
2 or 3 years ago.
Get out of here.
Yeah. We do a beach party every summer. Occasionally,
And
we'll
you
go
got
into
in
the
the water.
Yes.
Up to your...
Maybe like 3 years ago. Well, just like knees, like not going deep in.
Shark gets a look at those calves, though.
Meaty.
To feed that dude and his family for a month. I would never go in the water if I were you. Ever. So what? You don't think about it? I think about
try
it.
not
I
to.
think about it every time I
think
set
about
foot in the ocean.
stingrays more. Do the shuffle as you're walking in.
Worst, bro.
Do not want to step on a stingray.
It's just the worst. It scares me to death. It's just I love
Don't
surf.
you wish they could just build like a fence
wall.
about 100 yards out and nothing can get inside except for the water?
I love surfing and surfers and surf culture and surf movies more than anything in the world. I will sit and watch a surf movie, Ben, for hours. I love it. I'm fascinated by it. I respect them so much. It's so difficult to do. I'm so terrified of it. Beyond terrified of what's in that water.
Welsh Fryer says San Diego beaches are so fire. Welsh Fryer, you're comparing us to whales.
To whales. But they are great. They're great.
They are great. But your beaches are freezing cold and miserable. Ours are better. They're not quite Hawaii with warm water that's clear and you can actually see what's under. That's also nervous when you can actually see it as well.
What do Wales beaches look like? Just gray.
Rocks and gray,
and gray.
windy and cold. Water's like 51 degrees or something.
All right. Thank you, Bold Rindle.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
All right, we'll come back. Do you want to talk some Padres baseball? Let's open the phone lines here for the rest of the show. 833-288-0973, talking about the weekend that was in Kansas City. Do you think, like the Kansas City Royals do, that the Padres have aura about them? Give us a call, 833-288-0973. Back with more Ben and Woods, at least until I'm replaced by Tommy Pham on 97.3 The Fan. surprising and sad news from the sports world was this morning. Dallas Cowboys Hall of Fame offensive lineman Larry Allen died suddenly yesterday while on vacation with his family in Mexico. He was just 52 years old. One of the most dominant offensive linemen to ever play in the NFL. And obviously, being a Texas person.
Yes, a Texas person.
I don't know that I can call you a Texan necessarily. You're just more of a Texas person.
I don't consider myself really a Texan.
But a Texas person. You could be.
I am a Texas person.
Yeah, I use that specifically.
Okay.
So I didn't really want to call you a Texan.
Yeah, I feel offended.
But a Texas person.
Texas person.
He was an icon, obviously, of that franchise and organization.
He was unreal.
And I remember his pro career. I didn't really remember much about where he came from. And as I'm reading his bio here, unfortunately, his obituary, I grew up in Compton, and I would have never in a million years been able to tell you where Larry Allen played his college football, mostly because they don't have a college football team anymore, I believe. He went to Sonoma State up in Northern California, and he was a second-round draft pick in 1994.
What a find.
And, I mean, what a find.
My God, what a find. Just an incredible...
His feats of strength in the Cowboys' weight room were legendary, once bench pressing 700 pounds.
700 pounds.
700. Makes my 60 or 70 pound bench press seem a little paltry.
Hold on.
70, I think, is what I did last week.
70.
Well, I mean, I did more reps, more high reps.
All right, hold on. So what are we talking here? A bar, that's 45 pounds for the bar.
No, I did the two free weights. The
35
each. Yeah, each. That's 35 each.
70 pounds.
Yeah.
What about if I put you on a...
One in each arm, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Total of 70.
And how many reps did you do?
30.
Well, that's good.
10, 10, 10.
Oh, okay.
Quick rest in between.
Okay. What if I put you on a bench press?
I haven't done a machine in a while.
No, not a machine.
With an actual
the
bar.
The bar is 45.
I haven't done a bar since college.
I couldn't get 700. I probably couldn't get
200.
I probably couldn't get it.
No.
I'd need a spotter. A plate on each side is what? That's 90. That's 135.
Yeah.
I can do a plate and
Is a plate 45, so 90 plus the bar?
I'll warm up with a plate on each, but I don't do a ton of reps. But I'm not real strong. He did 700 pounds.
700 pounds.
That's incredible. Incredible.
I mean, I don't see a cause of death here yet. Obviously, a lot of NFL players have health challenges later in their life. It's not a profession that necessarily is good for the longevity, whether it be, big, huge guys who have some of those kind of problems, or then there's the concussions and other issues that take place. But very sad and unexpected news.
Well, you know how we do it, Adam.
All right.
And I really hope we can see more unity and more peace.
Me too.
When already things are so difficult. So, shout out to his family.
Yeah, that was a sad one this morning, especially for
Pham.
Cowboys fans for sure. But Larry Allen dead at the age of 52.
I'm 48. I have a physical tomorrow. I'm a wreck. I won't sleep tonight.
Yeah, you get to that point.
It's not fun anymore.
Was it ever fun?
Yeah, when I was young.
Really?
Yeah, not fun, but
was never fun.
You didn't worry about it.
But yeah, you weren't
not a bit
that concerned.
Because bro, you got to slow down, curtail some of your activities, but you're going to be fine. You're young. Yeah. They don't tell you that anymore. So tomorrow is a big one, big physical, yearly physical. I'm a wreck.
Yeah, there's no news is good news. Is all you're hoping for at this point.
It's like how you used to, when you were a kid, you used to like getting mail. You'd love when you got a piece of mail.
That's right.
Now, you're sick to your stomach when you go to the mailbox.
Have you ever go to the mailbox on a non-holiday and it's empty? And it's like, you feel like you won something.
It's like the
greatest. I didn't get a piece of
nothing.
mail today.
I got nothing.
That is fantastic. Not a bill, not a piece of junk mail.
Nothing.
Nothing. It's a great feeling when you get no mail at all.
It's like getting paroled for the day. Like you have a day pass to just go live your life.
Like you look,
we're going to let you out of here.
The box. There's nothing in there?
We're going to let you out of here for the day.
Fantastic.
It's a conjugal visit.
Did someone else go and get it before I came out here? What's going on?
That's the other thing. Did you get the mail? I didn't.
No.
We have nothing. Cause for celebration. No, man. I mean, physical after the show tomorrow. I'm sick.
Do you want me to come with you?
Kind of.
Hold your hand?
I kind of would love it. Because I'll just black out
You get
whatever
a
he
shot?
tells
You
me.
not like getting shots?
I don't mind getting shots.
That's not the part that
It's
worries
just physical. I just did my blood test. So I saw all
Fasting?
This. No, I didn't have to.
Oh.
Told me I didn't have to fast, which was great.
That's nice.
But I, he's going to run all the tests, and you don't know what's in there.
You have to get all the way into like the gown and everything.
Oh
or
yeah.
Do you go full
he may go
Monty.
He may go
inside a little bit.
Potentially.
Inspect.
Yeah. Never know.
Actually, I think I had my last physical. I do it around my birthday in November just to keep track. And last time was the first since I had lost all the weight. Got a lot of praise from the doctor. That's always a good feeling when the doctor is proud of you. I'm like, oh, good work.
Well, I had a streak.
Nice job there.
I had a streak there about, I don't know, I'd call it maybe 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago. I wasn't doing all that well. And I feel like I ate Chick-fil-A like 75 times in that span. So I'm sure that's going to be in there. He's going to know how much Chick-fil-A can you eat. You tested positive for Chick-fil-A. What's your problem, dude? So I'm a wreck. I'm a wreck about tomorrow. But I'm a wreck about everything. So hopefully it goes well. All right, one more break. Nobody wanted to talk Padres baseball with us,
Well,
huh?
we can.
I
Ask
guess
for
everybody's
phone calls
happy
here.
with the,
if you are,
the state of the team.
If you're
I love
not,
it.
I mean, we want to hear from you either way. Maybe you are. They've won 8 out of 10 series. They've won 18 of their last 30 or 31 games. If they play like that every month the rest of the year, they will win 92 games. And we will all be very happy with that.
100%.
So maybe there's no reason to be upset at all about the San Diego Padres. Tell us, though. 833-288-0973. Final segment of Ben and Woods. Coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
is set. Here's the pitch. Lofton swings, hits it in the air to right field. Fernando backing up, fighting the sun, getting ready to make the catch. Velasquez tagging. Here's the throw to the plate. No chance. A sac fly for the Royals. They walk it off with a 3-run ninth inning and avoid the sweep here at Kauffman Stadium.
Would you have walked the bases loaded to try to set up a force? Wouldn't have mattered with the sacrifice fly.
Yeah, probably not.
I don't think so. I don't think you want to just put the pressure on. Now you have to throw strikes as well.
I simply would have just pitched better.
Maybe if you get the first out, you consider setting up the double play with one out.
Yeah.
To get out of the inning, but with nobody out, I don't think you walk the bases loaded in a situation like that. Looks like we got some people who want to talk some Padres baseball.
I like it.
Going to get out to the phone calls. First, this hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by the San Diego County Fair. Let's go retro at the San Diego County Fair, opening June 7th. The magic of the Midway, live concerts, and a nostalgic celebration of fashion, culture, and more. Buy your tickets now online and learn more on what's happening at sdfair.com. That's sdfair.com. Let's check traffic and then right out to these full phone lines with Ben and Woods next on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Guys, getting reports of a possible brush fire northbound side of the 805 before Murray Ridge. Some smoke coming from the bushes over to the right shoulder. And looks like double trouble on southbound 15 in the Escondido area right before El Norte Parkway. There's a collision blocking the right lane. Then up ahead, just past Villa Rancho Parkway, there is a collision over the right shoulder of the HOV lane. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we got about 15 minutes left. Let's see how many of these we can run through here in our last segment. Let's go to Celeste in Claremont. Welcome, Celeste. You're on Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Oh, wait, I've got to call him. I told Adam I would call Celeste up, and then I didn't. Hi, Celeste. You're on now.
Hold on a second. Wait, don't hang up on me.
I know, that was my
on.
bad. You're there. You're good.
Hold
You're on.
Let me get rid of you guys on the other thing. Hold on.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You're great.
Everybody relax for a second. Everybody.
I'm sorry. I thought I had like the radio thing on.
It was totally
Anyway,
my
okay.
fault, not yours,
Right,
Celeste.
let her ask her question.
Okay, so I have a question. So, Morahone, correct?
Yes.
The guy that kind of used to always blow it, but he's doing really well this year. He's doing a lot better.
Perfect
What do you
description.
guys think about him being a possible closer?
Ooh. So I was thinking starter, you were going to say.
I
Closer.
do too.
Interesting.
I mean, we've got a really good closer.
And then a really good other guy who probably could close.
Now, I think maybe the question is why potentially didn't he try to close it out yesterday? That would have been an option, but
He did pitch 2 innings on Saturday,
He
right?
did. Pitched 2 innings on Saturday. So the other reason being is that you're probably going to need him for some potential backup situations this weekend or this week against the Angels, the first 3.
I do feel like the Padres are in if it ain't broke, don't fix it
I
mode
agree.
with Adrian Morejón.
I agree, man.
He's pitched really well, which has gotten all of us excited about. Well, put him in, starting rotation
Give
and
him
the way
give him a
he's throwing.
start.
Stretch him out a little bit. But the Padres are going, we have waited years to see this.
Yes.
He's throwing well. This is how we're using him. He's coming in like for the 5th and 6th, 2 inning stretches, maybe 3 at the most. Why would we do anything different when it's working so well for Adrian Morejón? Now, at some point, maybe they'll be pressed and have no choice but to try him in a different situation.
Yeah, great.
But for now, they seem content to leave Adrian Morejón as the guy who comes in usually after a righty and then, switches around the lineup for the other team to have to face a lefty and usually will face 7, 8 batters and has been getting most of them out. I think he gave up 2 doubles in the game on Saturday, but stranded both runners. And those were the first 2 hits he had given up in his last 10 innings. He had pitched basically a no-hitter for 8 innings before that in over the course of several outings. So he's thrown very well lately and maybe earning more high-leverage situations, if not in the 9th inning, certainly when they need a big out, at any point in the game.
I would love that. I would love if he was given that opportunity and seized it. That's what I would love more than anything. I mean, just be dominant in an inning. The 7th. What if he became your 7th inning guy, and then you go him? Estrada.
But he seems so effective over multiple innings, though.
Exactly
so
right.
He could be 6th and 7th inning guy.
Yep.
Celeste, thank you for the call. Let's go to Christopher in Escondido. Christopher, welcome to Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Gentlemen, first of all, thanks for taking my call. Love talking to you folks.
Thank you, buddy.
Woodsy, first, real quick, a shot of apple cider vinegar. As we get older and we still like to enjoy our Chick-fil-A's and our Pizza Hut pizzas, a shot every morning. I will tell you, 3 years ago, I started that. I'm a little older than you, and my cholesterol and my blood sugar has reduced significantly. It is a little bit like drinking battery acid, so pour it into a cup.
I've had it, and you dilute it a little bit. You know what I started doing is taking the apple cider vinegar gummies. I don't know if it has the same effect, but I take those.
Not as much.
Okay.
If you do a little research, talk to your doctor. The straight apple cider, is just great. Anyway, Padres, maybe it's because the bar set a little bit low after all the expectations of last year, but as I always say, expectations are the thief of joy. I didn't have a whole lot. I didn't know what to expect this year, but I am digging this Padre team. I love the fight. I know a lot of people are making a big deal about the left on base, but when you're getting this many guys on base all the time, you're not going to come through every time. So I'm not worried. Manny said it a couple weeks ago, I'm just happy we have the opportunity with runners on base. So I am totally digging this style. That old style, or what was pervasive in baseball, that the analytics, the 3 solo home runs and 15 strikeouts, it was the most boring style of baseball I've ever seen in my life. So, and I sent you guys a message just a little while ago. I really, this home thing, I think is absolutely in their heads. I mentioned last year, I remember distinctly, you guys did a spring training interview with Matt Carpenter, and you were asking him about hitting in Petco. And I remember him saying he talked to Manny, and Manny told him early in the season, avoid this alley and that alley, try and hit the ball here and hit. If you're going up there with all that in your head, like Profar's doing this year, and he said it, he's simplified. He's not thinking. He's just seeing the ball and hitting the ball, and the results are there. And I really think that's what the Padres need. And I'll get off and quit rambling, and love your show.
Great call, buddy.
Have a great day.
Thank you, man. You too.
Thanks, Christopher.
Now,
good Padres stuff, but I wanted his life advice I thought was very important. Did you hear what he said? He always says, expectations are the thief of joy.
Now, I thought it was comparison as the thief of joy.
I did too, but expectations are like you're only setting yourself up for disappointment if you set your expectations too high. When I was in college and I was on the golf team, we had a guy who was a year ahead of me. He's probably the best player on the team, but he would get very frustrated. And for the entire last year, he just kept mantraing, no expectations, no expectations. Every time he came to the course, like, I'm just going to let it unfold, and I'm not going to just get overly disappointed when something bad happens.
Hannah says that sometimes when I come out of the shower, which is the weirdest thing. She's chanting it. No expectations. Yeah. No expectations. That's weird.
I think comparison is the thief of joy, but expectations could also be the thief of joy.
How much joy were we all robbed of last year with our expectations?
And we've had undoubtedly more joy this year.
Unquestionably.
Even though the team is only a few games better than where they were.
Last year almost killed us.
But now I feel like we have much more joy with this year's team.
100%.
Still some frustration, obviously.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
Not perfect.
Has there ever been a non-frustrating baseball season for any team? I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. So,
the Phillies have played phenomenally. They had a frustrating one last night.
Yep.
Lost in extra innings to the St. Louis Cardinals. They had a chance to go for a sweep. Didn't happen.
Yep.
Every team has frustrating moments over a course of a season. Yankees were probably frustrated when the Padres beat them in that last game. They now have the best record in all of baseball.
I couldn't have been. I had them finishing like second, I think, in that division. They've been ungodly. Did you see them against Duvall the other day?
Yeah.
The comeback? Soto bomb. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
We needed all three of those.
Wherever they found him, he's been a good pickup.
Can you
for them.
imagine if we had a player like Juan Soto in our lineup?
Why don't we ever have guys like that?
God, unbelievable. We needed all those from them. People were like tweeting like huge Yankees fan
and we
this
made the
weekend.
point. We made the point. Juan Soto was the Padres' best offensive player last year. Can I give you the numbers here? Through 61 games.
Don't do this. Please don't do this. You're just going to make people mad.
No, he's just been better. He was hitting 248. Now he's hitting 322. 10 home runs, 17. 27 ribbies, 53. 53 runs batted in.
He's going to get 160 this year.
53. Runs scored, 32 last year. 46 this year. Hits, 51. 75. He actually has 4 fewer doubles this year for the Yankees. That's because all those doubles go over the wall at Yankee Stadium.
How about walks, Benny?
Walks. 56 last year, only 40 this year.
Embarrassing
Swinging
for the Yankees,
the bat,
to be honest.
His OPS was 877. It's now 1031. Not mad about
53 stakes already for that dude. June 2nd.
Crazy.
It's unreal.
Let's go to Oscar up at Camp Pendleton. Oscar, welcome to Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah.
No worries.
You know, last Wednesday I went to the Marlins game, and I was bummed out how ugly that went. And that Thursday I was like,
Because you had
who
expectations,
do we got
didn't
next?
you?
We got the Royals. But I was looking at stats. We're better off. We're better off out of way, and they're good at home. So I was wondering how that was going to play out. And then to see that we won the first game on Friday and then Saturday, I was like, man, we're good. I'm loving this squad. So, I mean, in your guys' perspective, are we hoping for a wild card? Do we want to go on the road and playoffs? Because I don't think we could do good here.
Yes,
at home.
I'm absolutely hoping they play as few. If they make the playoffs, hoping they play.
Really? Yeah. So the 3 wild cards. Remember, the first wild card team actually hosts the second wild card
first
team
one.
for the number 1 wild card team. So right now, obviously,
Today,
long
right.
way to go. Padres would go to Atlanta and play 3 games against the Braves.
Yeah, done.
You wouldn't rather host those 3 games?
No.
You'd rather go on the road.
Correct. Have you seen our road and
I
home
do.
splits? Today, you're asking me to. You're asking me. Now you're making the assumption the playoffs start today. So I'm going to make the
This
assumption
moment.
that nothing changes and that we go to Atlanta and win 2 out of 3.
But, I mean, if it comes down to the last game of the season, I don't think you tank it to make sure you go on
you
the
don't
road
tank it, but
instead of
crap, dude.
playing at home the last 3 games. That's kind of what Oscar was suggesting.
What other fan
If you get
base-
close and you might actually have to play home games in the playoff, you should tank your last 2 or 3 to make sure you're playing on the road.
Let's put it this way: unless something drastically changes with this team at home, I'm fine playing on the road because they have played really well.
They have played well on the road. I would rather see another team have to come into a hostile Petco Park for 3 games and face that Padres crowd in the postseason like the one we saw in 2022 that the Dodgers couldn't win a game at Petco Park. I would rather see that than, again, have to go on the road. Now, the Padres went to New York and won 2 out of 3 against the Mets that season. But then they came back and they won. They won the 2 against the Dodgers, and what did they split against the Phillies? The 2, and then they lost the 3 in Philadelphia to get eliminated in the National League Championship Series.
Yep.
Plus, from a selfish perspective, don't you want to attend and go to home
Yes.
playoff games?
No, I like watching on TV, as you know.
From a revenue perspective, better for the Padres to get home playoff games than have them all be on the road. Of course, the goal here is to get playoff games and hopefully as many at home as possible.
Sure.
And keep advancing to further rounds.
I don't know about you guys. I'd rather just win games. So let's play on the road for the rest of the year. They are so good away from Petco Park. And again, unless something dramatically changes, and they got some work to do. They got some work to do in that department. What's their record at home?
Record at home is going to be under 500 for sure.
Oh, yeah. I think it's a few under 500, isn't it?
They are currently 13 and 19
I was just
at
gonna
home.
say that. 13 and 19.
19 and 11 on the road.
They can win 6 straight at home and they're 500.
Now, they've played some good teams at home.
They
too.
absolutely
They've played
have.
the Phillies. They've played the Yankees.
Yep.
They've played the Dodgers.
Yep.
They did win that series.
Yep.
Played the Cubs. They've played a lot of good teams at home. That's changing over the next couple of weeks. The next homestand.
Let's get it going now.
Which is very clever. They called it Bring Your A Game because it's the Diamondbacks and the A's who both have A logos for the next homestand.
I like that.
And you're playing your next 4 series, Angels, Diamondbacks, A's, and Mets, against teams with losing records. It's the longest, by far, the longest stretch of games the Padres have had this year against teams with losing records. Does that mean they're going to go 10-3? No. Would you like them to, though? That would be fantastic. If they could go, at least, 7-6 doesn't feel like nearly good enough.
Does not feel nearly good
8-5 is not bad, but you're hoping
looking
for
9-10
9-4
wins,
or 10-3 is
Yep.
what you're looking for these next 13 games. It starts tonight.
1-0. Let's go 1-0.
And by the way, tonight is no gimme. Even though the Angels are the worst home team in baseball, they're throwing a tough lefty on the mound, and the tough lefties have continued to give the Padres fits. Tyler Anderson is 5-5 with a 2.47 ERA. Remember, he was on the Dodgers, and now he's on the Angels. Matt Waldron coming off a really good start last Tuesday. Really fantastic start against the Marlins. Will be on the mound for the Padres at 6:38 tonight here on 97.3 The Fan. Sammy Levitt with your Eco Water SoCal Padres pregame show at 5:38. The Angels have lost 5 in a row. They just got swept by the Mariners up in Seattle. I think they've lost like 8 of 9. They're not playing well. They don't have any superstars left. They are a team ripe for the taking. Now, you can take 2 out of 3, and Mike Shildt can say, we're happy with that.
That would be what? How many series?
9 out of 11 if
9
they
out of
take
11.
2 out of 3. But I guarantee you we'll be sitting here on Thursday morning probably going, yeah, but it would have been nice to sweep that team and not just take 2 out of 3. Can't win the series, and you can't sweep the series unless you win the first one.
Want to know, baby?
This is the one, to me, this is the game, the pivotal game of the series.
And we get wash content, which is never bad. It's never bad to get wash content.
I flipped on Moneyball this weekend again.
So good. It's incredibly hard. Incredibly. I wish so much that they were playing better. I just hope it doesn't start now because I do love
I
wash.
stayed for the closing credits.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that Miguel Tejada was played by Royce Clayton.
I did not know that either.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I think that's what it said in the credits.
God, that's amazing. All right, guys. Have a great Monday.
Thank you for the calls. Adam, thank you for sitting in for Paulie. We'll have Italian Paul, Frank Marchese.
Great job, Bald Reindl.
With us tomorrow, and then Paulie will be back on Wednesday. Andy and Elston are coming up next for Woodsy. I'm Ben. Have a great rest of your Monday from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.